So you have a relationship with Federal to where you've met Eric Carlson through some contacts, and Eric calls you in instances like this year when they needed to do some product testing for the new Black Cloud that they're launching for the fall of 18. They say, hey, we'd like to bring a group up and we're going to bring a bunch of this new ammo and we need to rip through some snow geese. You get that phone call and do you automatically say yes, or do you have to really look at what's going on with the reverse migration, because they couldn't go until, I think it was third week of April when we were up there?
It's April 20th. Yeah. No, it's a stress, but I got to do it. They're Federal, so I make it happen.
And what's that kind of, usually, relatively speaking, that time of the year, to me, that sounds way late, but is it consistently to where you're seeing large groups of snow geese that late into the spring, coming back up north to their breeding grounds?
It's usually April 10th, 20th. It slims down, and then you get the younger birds to come up because they have no breeding, sex drive, none of that. So the adults will leave them behind, and the hunting is a lot better, but it's tough. I mean, it is tough. And
when you're saying that let me get this right. When the end of the spring starts to come and that adult snow goose starts to feel it in his ears, his sexual innuendo or whatever you say it is, his sex drive kicks in, he knows that it's time to go north because he's thinking about breeding. So the adults will leave first. The juveniles that aren't into that breeding phase of their life yet, 1 year old, sometimes 2 years old, they don't need to leave as fast because they're not worried about getting up there and finding a mate and breeding. So that time of the year, are you catching the tail end of the juvies in that late in April, or are most of them already by you usually by that time?
It's middle to end, and the end is the best. I mean, you can find 2,000 birds and have a 200-300 bird shoot. I mean, like you saw. I mean, it's good.
How much does snow geese jump around as far as the food source goes there? If you pinpoint them and they're in a field one day, can you pretty much guarantee they're going to be in that field the next day? Because usually the thing about snow geese is that they feed out so fast out of a field. That's why Canada geese or some of those other species don't really get into mixing with snow geese, because they're just really aggressive. They root up a bunch of the ground. That's why that we've put this depredation season in place to get rid of some of them, because they cause so much havoc on the breeding grounds, on the feeding grounds, on farms, on cropland. So is it kind of hard to scout snow geese?
In Canada, yeah. Not the Dakotas, because it's corn. They'll go to a cornfield, and it'll take them 4 or 5 days to feed it out. Where a wheat field, if you watch them in a wheat field, they're just moving. They're booking it across the wheat field, and they'll feed that out within 2 days.
So why does corn take so much longer? Just because there's so much more food in it?
So much on the ground.
Because the kernels are falling off of from the cobs, and they're just picking through it. So they really don't need to root up anything like they're known for doing, like grasses and wheat and stuff. They're just picking up the excess kernels that are falling off the ground or the combine mist.
Yep.
So when you're scouting for them and you find 4,000 geese in a cornfield in April in North Dakota, you can pretty much guarantee they're going to come back that way, or at least put out a big enough spread to where you might be running traffic, but if you are on the X, they're probably going to go back to that cornfield.
Yep.
So they are kind of like Canada geese in a way.
Oh yeah, they pattern. Snow geese, I think snow geese pattern a lot better than Canada geese.
Why?
In the fall, because it's point A, point B. That's a snow goose. Unless you mess it up, somebody hunts it, then yeah. But Canada geese in North Dakota in the fall will jump field to field to field.
Really? So well, talking about the spring, is it tougher in the spring to get to pinpoint and peg a snow goose flock?
Nah, you just got to watch them. Scouting. I mean, if anybody, ditch shooting is the worst. People, when they're going to a field and they're coming off the field and somebody's shooting at them in the ditch, well, that field's wrecked. I mean, it's just, you got to watch. There's a lot of variables out there. People jump shooting them, pushing them around.
So there's just really no way to control that, obviously. So as an outfitter in that time of the year, and you got a big group like Federal Premium coming up, you're under some pressure and some stress because you want to perform because it is federal premium. They're a very iconic brand in the hunting industry. They're entrusting in you to test this new product that they're going to launch to the public, and you are going to have some big shoes there, right? Because you got to get them enough shots to make sure that their product works. If they come in there and they've spent all this time engineering and developing and designing this product, they got it all ready to go. They get to Migration X Outfitters. Chris meets them, says, "Hey, we got a field." You go there the next day. Your fingers are crossed that things work out because they've only got so much time. They got 2 or 3 days when we were there to test this ammo, shoot as many rounds through the Benellis as they possibly could, kill as many snow geese, and see the devastation that occurs with this new ammo, this new black cloud, the kill results, the harvest results, the less cripples. I mean, it was amazing the results we were getting. So are you thinking this has to work out, or are you being honest with yourself saying it's so late, I really have no idea what's getting ready to go down?
When they called the book like this year, I don't do any hunts a week before, and I'm scouting. We're scouting, watching birds, seeing where they're at, whether we're going to be in northern South Dakota or North Dakota. I mean, it's a variable. And so I'm upfront with Eric. I'm like, hey, we're either going to be in northern South Dakota or North Dakota, somewhere. And he knows that, and he just says, tell us where to be.
So I know Eric Carlson a long time, and he's pretty understanding. And obviously, most duck and goose hunters in this instance would be understanding of, hey, we could be going too late, but because of our schedules, this is when we can go. Chris is going to do as much as he can to put us on the birds. You have an awesome crew that's working. I watched it, unfold, the lodge, the crew, the scouting, the decoy spreads. Why that time of the year do you concentrate on more rags than you would a full body spread?
Because it's young birds, juvies. You don't need the full bodies. And at that time of year, we've already been at it for 40 days, so don't need to put that much effort into it.
So what do you mean you don't have to put that much effort into it? You think that you can just decoy juvies as soon as they see the spread? Do you got to have the right sounds? Do you got to have the right vortexes, the motion, the wind? What do you have to have for juvies?
Sound and motion.
What kind of motion?
Rotary machines.
And then obviously you're hoping for a wind to make those rags come alive. What kind of sounds? What kind of vocabulary are you trying to reproduce? Where do you get those kind of sounds? Is it a secret to where all these snow goose hunters, you and Alex and Vandemore and Tyson Keller and all you guys have this secret soundtrack that nobody else can get their hands on? And you're pretty serious about it. You're picking the speaker up and you're waving it around and pushing it in my ear and pissing me off. And you're really annoying actually because you're trying to have a conversation during a hunt and you can't hear anything with this annoying snow goose sounds going on. Is that available on iTunes, or how do you get this done? Do you have to go out and record your own audio?
A lot of it's cut, paste, make your own. Vandemore has his own, Tyson has his own, and nobody shares them. Nobody does.
So you have like this little secret deal that nobody will ever have. So where do you get the first sounds? Do you set up microphones in a snow goose field and actually start getting audio going on of geese feeding and stuff? Are you doing that on your own? 4
years ago we did.
You went
and then you just cut, paste, take there's a CD out there called Snows Down Low. Take some of those tracks, overlay it with some of this, and the bark is the biggest thing to me.
Can you emulate that with your mouth?
No.
What does it sound kind of like?
Snow goose bark. It's real high pitched.
Give me one.
No, I can't.
Why?
I don't even know how to do it.
You're a snow goose guy. I hunt Canada geese and I do that.
No.
You can't do it.
No.
So you're telling me that there really is this secret society of snow goose sounds that you guys go out and you don't share them at all. I remember Tyson Keller, when I would hunt snows with him, like he was so stingy and greedy and secretive about his playlist on his at that time it was his iPod running on running the system on all the hunts we did, and he was successful with it. So obviously it does depend on the vocabulary and the audio that you're getting out of them.
Yeah, so when flocks are up high, we hunt a lot of migrators. I'll hit a sound, and you can see their reaction, and as they come down closer, you just kind of lower the volume, switch to a different sound, get them to calm down, and just finish.
What do you mean just finish?
Just come down to that magic 20-30.
And you're talking 20 or 30 feet or 20 or 30 yards.
Yards.
So 90 feet is the optimum snow goose, to where when that flock gets centered up, to me, snow geese aren't that hard to kill. They're hard to get on and kill. I'm talking about when the actual killing them with the ammo. It seems like they go down pretty easy. You clip a wing and they just have no pride. They just fall over and die, right?
Yep.
Whereas a Canada is a little bit tougher, a little bit more down, a little bit more fat on them, depending on what variety you're hunting or subspecies of the Canada goose. You get 30, 40, 50, 100, 200, 300 snow geese in a pocket. You can put a pretty good dent in a flock in a hurry, right? That's why those numbers, they're just gradually climbing, and then all of a sudden you'll go from having 30 dead to 90 dead, and you're just like, really, we got 90 already? Because you can kill 30 in 2 flocks, and that's 30 each flock, and that's 60 birds right away, right?
Oh yeah, it adds up fast when you get them in good and tight, and you got 6-7 guns with 10 shots apiece. I mean, there's some damage.
Now you talk about the 10 shots apiece. That's what is so intriguing about the spring season to me, is extended magazines on the Benelli. Some of them hold 9 with 1 in the chamber for a total of 10. Some of them hold more, depending on how heavy and top heavy you want to get your gun. There's several times with you, we unloaded the entire magazine, excuse me, and you can't do that anywhere in this country for any other type of bird, migratory birds or upland birds or anything. You can't even do it for snows in the fall. You can only do it during the spring depredation season, which is intended to try to put a dent or take out some snow geese to, again, protect the breeding grounds, protect cropland, because they're out of control as far as population numbers go. And truthfully, quite frankly, we don't put a dent in them as snow goose hunters. You guys, with all the other outfitters, all the other guys like Vandemore and Tyson Keller that might concentrate on this species of geese, we're not putting a dent in them every spring. I don't think you could. There's so many of them, right?
No. The population, the only thing that's going to happen is either Mother Nature or a disease. That's what's going to happen.
Have you ever had a client show up for a spring season hunt and not had an extended magazine on his gun and just been pissed off the whole hunt that his buddies are just hammering away? Tell me some stories. I got to get you talking. Everybody, this is Chad Belding with another episode of the podcast, This Life Ain't For Everybody. Today, I'm joined by my good buddy, Chris Green from the great state of North Dakota. The town is Fargo. If you guys have seen the movie Fargo, him and his wife, Jolynn, and all of his family talk just like those people, kind of the south of the border Canadians up there in Fargo. But he's a good buddy of mine. He owns and operates Migration X Outfitters, which concentrates on snow geese, Canada geese, mallard ducks, diver ducks, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas. And we got some news today to share with you guys as we get into this podcast a little bit. But he joins us in Reno today. We have a dinner for California Waterfowl Association tomorrow night at the Great Lake Tahoe. So we're excited about that. CWA, can't wait to see you guys. Rocky, John, Scott, the entire crew. Today's podcast is brought to you by our friends at Oakley Standard Issue Eyewear, as well as Oakley Apparel, as well as Jack Link's Jerky again. Jack Link's supplies us our snacks, our protein needed in the blind or during the podcast. So to them and all of our partners and sponsors here and at the Fowl Life, we truly appreciate it. Again, it's Chris Green. He's a man of few words, and I'm sitting here just trying to get it out of him because he's got all this knowledge, all of these secrets. He's seen it, he's been there, he's done it, and he's seen it done a million times. And today we're going to learn what it takes to be an outfitter. We're going to learn what it takes to be a guide, maybe a guide that works for Chris or another outfit across the country. The guide's life is not easy. It's not glorious. It's fun, but it's you got to be cut from a different type of cloth to want to be a guide. And we're going to get into that during this podcast so you can understand why. So when you or one of your kids or somebody says, I want to grow up and be a professional duck guide, you might have to talk some sense into them because, again, this life ain't for everybody. You got to be a little bit crazy to do that. So Chris Green, Migration X Outfitters, Prairie Sky Lodge in South Dakota. And the news that we're going to share with you today is going to consist of both of those brands. And I'm going to let Chris explain what's going on with that in a while. But I want to get into a little bit more about this spring season and these extended magazines and these electronic collars. I just got back from Argentina, and down there there's no extended magazines, but you don't have to have a plug in your gun. You can shoot lead. You can use electronic collars for ducks. So they got these emulated sounds of these rosy-billed ducks come in. It's kind of like snow geese, real ugly barking sound. It's real. It's not pretty, but they also have pintail down there, and widgeon, and these white cheeks, and a bunch of different species of teal, and it's a fun hunt. But you're stacking ducks up down there. There's limits of, some people say it's 25, some people say there's no limits. In the spring depredation season in the continental United States, for snow geese, which usually starts sometime in February in Arkansas, Louisiana, and then travels north in a reverse migration back up, mainly the Mississippi and the Central Flyways. There's no limit. You're using electronic cars. You're using extended magazines, large decoy spreads, vortex machines. Tell me something. Why does this make your blood get going? Why do you want to absolutely destroy your turkey season, your spring season by chasing these snow geese?
It's the drive, it's a passion, and it's the bird. People think that they go out, sure, jump thousands of them, kill them, right? Try decoying them. Once you decoy snow geese, and it's that, just like a duck hunter, just like a Canada goose hunter, when they finish, there's no better feeling. There's no better feeling. But when you can get snow geese and you can fool them after all the time you put in and all the effort, and 60% of the time it works, 40% of the time it doesn't, and that's what keeps you going and going and going, to just get that right there in your face.
In those big days of right there in your face, and you can stack them up. I've seen days in the last couple of years of some guys killing 300, 400, 500 birds even. It doesn't happen every day. A good day on the prairie for spring snow goose season can be 30 birds to 50 birds. Maybe, that's a good shoot. People start to think, because of these big numbers that are being harvested during these spring depredation seasons, that I don't want to give somebody the misnomer or the misinterpretation that like every day they go out, or every day you and your crews go out, that you just stack up 100, 200 birds. It doesn't happen like that. For that to happen, things have to align. The stars got to align. It's got to be blue skies mainly. Stormy days, I guess. I'm not a very educated or experienced snow goose hunter, but I think that bluebird skies with the south wind to keep that migration pushing, big decoy spreads with rags mixed in with full bodies, vortex machines, awesome audio with several speakers. I mean, you guys are producing it's unlike any other hunt, to where there could be 8 to 10 speakers laid out in your spread with wires running everywhere, then batteries out in the field with vortex machines, then all of your decoys, then your blind, which usually consists of painter suits with all whites with a white beanie on and a white scarf or something around your face, or some kind of handkerchief that's of the white variety around your face. And extended magazines, and you guys really just hide in between the decoys on these lounge chairs that you would see at a swimming pool kind of area at a resort. It is a lot of work, and then you want to do it every day.
Yep.
You want to do it every day. So to me, it's got to be. There had to have been something that happened in your life that said, you know what, I'm going to chase these bastards. From February until almost May, I'm going to miss all turkey hunting. You're from South Dakota. There is good turkey in South Dakota, which I knew you just really found out about that, which we'll get into later. But what happened to you? Is your brain that messed up that you want to chase these things?
Well, back in 1989, me and my dad took me out for my first hunt, and my family's always been snow goose hunting. That's what my grandpa did, my dad does, and we took each other hunting, and I was hooked. And back then, it was five per person.
With no spring season.
No,
this is just the fall.
You could use lead still. It was the late 80s, and from there it was just every weekend to go snow goose hunting. My dad and my grandpa wouldn't care about the ducks. And you didn't see, back then you didn't see dark geese. They call them blacks. You didn't see them. There was no, the Canada goose population, none of them around. So snow geese, and that's what we mainly hunted. And then, as I grew older, and me and my buddies would get a couple $100, buy some rags, and the Texas rags came out. Then it was the quack GN8 shells. And then we grew from there, and then we'd go out, and if we shot 20 birds, it was like 20 birds back then was like shooting 300 now. And it didn't happen. I mean, they were mostly all adult birds, and they're smart.
And you get the addiction early to where would you say right now that snow geese are your favorite waterfowl to pursue?
Hands down.
By far.
Hands down.
More than the mallard duck.
You could show me a feed on the right side of the road of 100,000 dollars. Show me 20,000 snow geese, I'm going after snow geese.
See, there's obviously something wrong with it. We would have a big argument.
Yeah.
It's tough to beat a strong, dry field, cornfield, mallard hunt with a blue sky and a pretty good wind and some cold temperatures.
It is, but it's the limits on the snow geese that make it. Ducks. North Dakota dry field hunting. 2 or 3 flocks come in for 2 guys, and you're done. And pack it up and go home.
So now you're referring back to the big numbers.
The big numbers, yeah. Because hunt lasts longer, and it's just different. It's fun to fool them birds because you think about it, the snow goose gets shot at 10 months out of its life. They're smart birds. As like the ducks and Canada geese, they get shot at maybe 6 months.
Yeah, ducks will usually start getting shot out in early September, October, November, December, and January. So really 5 months if you count, all the way down from Canada, because federal law says you have to be done, I believe, by January 28th. That's like the federal day that all duck season's out there. And in some states, again, way earlier than that. Which that's dependent on flyways, that's dependent on local law enforcement and stuff like that, or state agencies of law enforcement, or the local Department of Wildlife. The snow goose is your favorite thing to do, but with Migration X, you've made a lot of dreams come true with a lot of different hunters on those cornfield, dry field mallard hunts, Canada goose hunts, prairie pothole hunts. You're right there in the duck factory. Being from North Dakota and having that as your backyard, that's the duck factory. That's the grasslands. That's the prairie pothole region of where a lot of breeding and a lot of ducks in America are born. A lot of them are up north in Canada and in the tundra and stuff like that. But as far as the breeding area of America, there's nowhere that's even close to North Dakota.
The numbers came out this year, and I think it was right around 3 million that they hatched in North Dakota. That was the population.
Tell me a story real quick. Just paint a picture of me of a group that comes in and you say, we're going to go on a duck hunt. These guys might be from North Carolina. I know in outfitting when I've been involved in it, a lot of our clientele came from the Carolinas and Louisiana, a lot of Cajun groups, because down there, they start so late in the year. In the Carolinas, they really don't have a lot of ducks. They cherish the wood duck and a couple on a creek once in a while. In Louisiana, they have awesome duck hunting, but a lot of those Louisianans like to get out. They're killers. They want to start early, so they go to Canada or the Dakotas. Give me a story. Tell me something about these guys show up. They've never been on a dry field mallard hunt, and all of a sudden they're laying in a ground blind with all these full-bodied geese and ducks around them. And then you say, here come the ducks. They just have no idea what's getting ready to happen, right?
All right, I got one. So when I first started guiding, so in North Dakota, you have to guide to get your outfitting license. You have to go to the state, take a test, get your guide, pass your guides test. Then I had to guide for an outfitter for 3 years. Then he signs off on me, and now I'm a legit outfitter license. So anyways, started guiding up Devil's Lake for a gentleman. And first couple groups come in, go out, they were from around there, shot some ducks. I had a group come up from Florida. Or no, Georgia, I remember this. And then, so we're sitting there, there's 4 guys from Georgia, 2 from Missouri. We're sitting there in the morning, the wood ducks buzzed right in, and it wasn't shooting time. And they're looking at me going, why aren't we shooting? So we got about 3 minutes. So the wood ducks get up, go out, so flock of mallards come in, shoot them, we shoot them. And widgeon and gabbles are spinning. It's about 500. They come in and they land. And then I'm sitting there looking, no greenheads, because North Dakota, what's engraved in us, it's greenhead, pintail, or wood duck. That's what we shoot. Maybe some widgeon when they're fully plumed, but gadwalls and all that, we don't really shoot them. So we're sitting there, and this is what I learned. With clients, we're kind of spoiled in North Dakota because we get the exceptional duck hunting we have already. So the clients are all sitting there, these widgeon gadwall are spinning, they land. One old man looks over at me and he goes, son, why aren't we shooting? And I said, well, there's no greenheads or pintails out there. And he goes, boy, where I come from, a duck is a duck. Let's shoot him. So that hunt lasted about 45 minutes. We were done.
So they have their intentions are, we're here to kill, because they don't get that in Georgia. They don't get, there's an early season goose, Canada goose season in Georgia, and I know a lot of guys. You might get on a puddle duck hunt or get lucky. You come a little bit west of there into Alabama. I know that there's some pretty good puddle duck hunting there, but it's for the most part in the Carolinas, and I might be speaking out of turn a little bit here. But I would say for the most part, there's not a lot of solid puddle duck hunting down there. And I know several guys like my buddy Chad Payne that hunts in Georgia quite a bit. And I know that they're not having what you get in Arkansas or even like Kansas or Oklahoma or Texas or North Dakota, South. They just don't see that. So when you get into that Mississippi flyway and these groups come up, I remember the first time that I hunted dry corn for ducks. And I haven't been duck hunting that long in my life as it is right now. I started when I was 27, which is relatively young for getting into duck hunting. I had been on some Canada goose hunts with my uncle and my dad when I was a kid, but I really got into duck hunting and introduced to it when I was 27, and it took a hold of me. And knowing that we do it over water out here, we get into a marsh, you got cattails, you got all these tulies, you get on a tulie seat, and you got your decoys out in front of you, and there's a lot of that going on in some prairie potholes in your area, but that's how we hunt it here. And now with the corn prices and the price of ethanol being up, there's more corn being produced around here, so there is a tiny bit of dry field hunting, but back then there was none. And then I started traveling a bunch to hunt. Montana had dry corn, Wyoming had dry corn. And then you go into North Dakota, even like western North Dakota by Bismarck, dry corn. Over by Devil's Lake and Fargo, dry corn. Come down to South Dakota, even Minnesota's got a little bit. Then you got South Dakota, then you got Iowa, then you got Nebraska, then you got Kansas. All this corn being produced in just a buffet for these mountains, and I got on it and I hear that. To be an outfitter, we're going to learn. And I'd heard that a few times over water on a migratory day. When you're hunting them and they see those spinners, and you got to have spinners in my opinion in dry corn. You got to have mojos, no doubt about it. And when you do, and you get them on, and 10 ducks, just like in flooded timber, can turn into 400, 500 in a hurry. There was nothing like it for me, Chris. I remember standing in the blind, sitting in the blind, or laying in the lay-down blind, as a matter of fact, and having some land and having them all around us, and they're making those false runs because they're really not working vertically. Once they get down there, they're working more horizontally and going way out and turning and making false runs, and we're calling at them and we think they're listening to us. They are kind of, but they're really concentrated on the flash of those spinners. When guys come up and experience that, it gets them hooked to the point to where, in my opinion, if you get groups from Louisiana or Florida, Georgia, and Carolinas, Alabama, and they come up and see that one time, they're coming back. Because they're never going to see it when they're home. Ducks down there don't dry feed in the first place. In Arkansas, in the rice fields, if all those rice fields are flooded, you very rarely will ever see a duck. You'll see specks dry feed down there, but you're not going to see a lot of ducks ever dry feed in California or Arkansas or Louisiana because of the rice and the flooded rice fields. They're going to go into that wet and get in those clumps and eat the rice and have water at the same time. So you as an outfitter got to be like, hey, we have something going on here to where, are you thinking of that when you're first starting Migration X? That this is really a delicacy in America of putting people under mallard ducks in dry corn. Did that thought cross your mind when you're starting it?
It didn't right away. It was mainly snow geese. And then, the market, I started watching it, and I'd get calls for ducks. Get calls for ducks. And finally, I'm like, we got to do duck hunts. This is it. Duck hunts trump snow goose hunts. For popularity-wise, duck hunting is huge. That is number one overall. My bookings are ducks. And I just had a guy call that hunted with me last year up in North Dakota. Called me and said, hey, we're coming back up. We need some dates. Sorry it's so late, but that was the best duck hunting I've ever seen in my life. And he's part of Ducks Unlimited down in North Carolina, I think. So, he said, you've never seen anything like it. Hunting out an A-frame, standing up, shooting mallards at 5 yards.
And A-frames, how long have you been hunting out of it?
That's a new thing. Not a lot of people are doing it yet, but it's catching on. It's basically about the last 2 years, 3 years.
What is the advantage?
It's something different. They're used to the layout blinds. Like snow geese are used to layout blinds. Honkers are used to them. They're looking for them.
You mean as far as you think that ducks are starting to realize that layout blinds are hidden? You think that a layout blind is going to hide less, or it's going to be harder to hide layout blinds than it is an A-frame? Is that what you're telling me right now?
It's different. Something different. Like if you're driving down the road and there's a pothole and you hit it every time, and then they cover it up and then there's one over there. It's different. It's something different that they haven't seen. And we've noticed a huge success off it. Now, you're not shooting them at 5, 10, 15, 20 yards. You may shoot them at 20. We usually pace it out to about 25 to 30. You know, Fred Zink does a good demonstration. Right? Closest decoy, my furthest decoy. That's kind of the same thing we do. And it's something different for those birds that they're not used to. They don't see it.
So you're telling me the way that their brain is going, never seen it, I'm not used to it. There's no way that somebody's hiding in that because we're just used to flat spots with doors that pop open and they sit up if they know how to do an ab workout and sit up. They can sit up and shoot us. So you're telling me that the ducks are actually getting the tricks played on their brain with them outthinking themselves on these A-frames.
You get three weeks into the season, honkers coming in. If them clumps and whale blinds, they'll flare. They're gone. Duck, same thing. They know. They're looking for it. Snow geese especially. I mean, your hide is, you know, in hunting waterfowl, your hide is everything.
Concealment's key, but so how are you going to hide in the snow geese if you're not using whale blinds? You're definitely not using A-frames.
No. You just blame whites. You blend right in.
So because of the way that snow goose spreads are with, you know, they fade out way down, and then snow geese are real greedy, stingy animals, and they're always trying to jump ahead of the big feeding clump. So those vortexes behind us or right around us are the active birds that are landing on top of the most active part of the decoy spread, which is the most white. You got white suits on, which is kind of a, what's the stuff called? I can't think of it right. Tyvek painting suits, and you're laying in that, which are almost impossible to get on if you have, you know, zero athletic ability. I've seen a lot of dudes like Randy this year. I mean, just, he was so upset. But you're telling me that they're not used to A-frames, so mallard ducks are going to trick themselves into coming in because they really haven't seen that application. Because I know in Canada they've caught on, and we absolutely smoke them in the peas and in the wheat in Canada in October. We're going up there late. We're going up there and getting ducks that are coming down, the last mallards to leave, you know, northeastern Alberta and northwestern Saskatchewan. It works. On the geese, too. I've had several great lesser hunts up there out of A-frames. Are you hunting the edge when you're down here in North Dakota? You got to be on the edge, right? Are you hunting the edge?
We go right out in the middle of the field.
And you put the A-frame out there and just stuff as much corn into it as you can?
No, we build a bush. Just make it look like a big bush, and you put them decoys out. And so when the birds are looking at the decoys, there's no objects, there's nothing. It's just decoys. There's nothing in there. And it takes, their attention is drawn into the decoys. And so if you walk away from a spread where there's guys sitting in layout blinds and you look at it from back and you see birds come in, you can see every hunter's head just going like this, moving back and forth. And if I can see it from 200 yards away, I'm pretty sure those birds can see it just like that.
With thousands or hundreds of thousands of eyeballs.
Yeah.
So you don't make your clients wear face masks?
We do and we don't. It's hit or miss.
Tell me a client horror story. That could be an easy one to blow on Candy Joe.
I've had boot bags shot out. I've had a barrel explode. I've had my dog almost shot numerous times. It's just, we go through the safety factor. It's huge. I mean, don't shoot birds in the ground. Guns unsafe. Guns in the air type of deal when we're all done hunting. I mean, it's dangerous. If you think about it, what I'm doing, what this industry is we're taking people out with loaded weapons. You know, I mean, it's dangerous. You know, and a lot of these people show up, put my gun together, and they ship brand new gun to the lodge, and I got put together and never shot it. I got shown want to shoot it. You know, that throws a red flag. I mean, there's just stories and stories. I mean, I've had shooting the wrong species, and it's just yeah.
So why do you guide them?
I like meeting people from different walks of life. I mean, I like just the PR side of it, and it's fun seeing putting smiles on their faces. You know, after a really good, successful duck hunt or goose hunt, pheasant hunt or whatever, come back, the camaraderie, everybody's having a good time. You just meet so many people from different walks of life.
Well, let's get into the guide's life a little bit. First, I want to start off by saying, with guiding, the most important thing to me about a guide, and I'm not talking calling talent, I'm not talking scouting, work ethic, any of that stuff, which we're going to get into, but safety is number one. And you have to have a CEO mentality, a leadership mentality to be a good guide. And I think that as an outfitter owner, or if you're thinking about starting your own guide service or outfitting service for whether it's fishing and you're in a boat or you're in a raft and you have safety vests and you have everything that goes into the safety of being on a body of water to a goose guide. There's nothing more scary or more concerning than a bunch of people in a duck blind with the anticipation and the excitement level, with loaded weapons, and all that energy going on, and inexperience in some of these guys that might be on their first hunt. The most important asset in a guide, off of my checklist, if I was in the Human Resources Department of Migration X, is that leadership ability to go in there and say, hey guys, here's what we got going on today. Here's where the wind's coming out of. This is what you're going to experience in the panel blind today, the pit blind today, the lay down blinds. Everything from safeties, clicking on and off, when you're going to click your safety off, where your guns are going to be pointed, shooting your lanes, keeping your actions open when any human being or dog is out in the decoy spread retrieving ducks, or the decoy spread is being moved or manipulated to change up during the hunt. Every safety part of that hunt can never be skipped. I don't care if that group's hunted with you before. It's got to be refreshed in their head, because you're putting your life in the harm's way if you don't make sure that you hold everybody accountable for their safety and their actions. So am I on to something there, to where as far as hiring guides, that's got to be one of the most important things. If somebody that's going to be able to say, hey, if this happens, I'm calling the hunt.
No, man.
It's almost like I heard Chael Sonnen on your Welcome podcast talking about UFC referees, that if they see something illegal happen, like a bad elbow or an illegal elbow or something, they need to disqualify that fighter, not say, oh, he didn't mean to do it, or I'm going to give him a chance. That's breaking the rules. Mm-hmm. If the rule says if you do this, you're disqualified, then that referee, as a leader in that instant or that situation, has to say, you know what, fight's over. You did this. You're not allowed to do that. Go back and learn the rule book and come back and be better next time. Fight's over. Oh, yeah. Happened to John Jones. It happened on this last fight with Pedroia and Eddie Alvarez. So back to guiding, if something happens, that guide has to be able to say, hey, I'm the leader here, right?
No,
tell me about that.
Every morning, my guides always have a sit down with the clients before they even get out to the field. This is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to do. And then when they get out to the field, they get them all situated. Guns are always unloaded, and it's safety. And Dylan, one of my guys, and Evan, they are just on top of it. I mean, they run the show. If a client does something wrong, you're gone. I mean, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I can't remember what it was, we had a group of clients out of Texas that knew more than us, type of hunters, and so we, let's move the spread. And I'm like, well, why do you want to move the spread? Set perfect. Well, they don't like something. This is how we hunt in Texas, and this is this. So we moved that spread, I think 3 times, and we made a big Nike swoosh with the snow goose spread. And the geese, it's just snow geese are going to decoy or they're not. I mean, that's the reality of it. I mean, and they weren't having it that day. That wasn't a decoying day. And these guys from Texas were really upset, planning on shooting 100 birds or something, which I never promised. Never. It's 30 to 50 a day. Anything more is great. Anything less, it's hunting. That's my slogan. That's my speech to all my clients. So the guys from Texas show up the next day, and it was just no wind, and I told them, I said, we'll be lucky to shoot some birds today. And they got all pissed off, packed up their shit, and left. The next day was a killing day. I went out to the spread myself after they went on some social media and they said some stuff about me, and I'm not even going to get into that. I went out the next morning for their hunt, on their hunt, by myself in the decoy spread, and I shot 49 or 43 myself before 10 o'clock in the morning. And I videoed it and I tagged them and I said, patience, I told you. I mean, not every day you're going to kill hundreds and hundreds. There's no outfitter out there that does it.
Yeah, there's going into the guiding business and living that guide's life, quote unquote guide's life. There is an uncanny stress of wanting to provide happiness and memories and a great hunt for people. Mother Nature's a huge part of it. A guy that has the ability or the financial means to say, hey Chris, you got any openings this week? It looks like it's going to be the moon's dark, there's not much of a moon, it looks like it's going to be sunny this week, it's going to be cold this week, it's going to be windy on a couple days, the migration's on, we want to come. That doesn't happen a lot because most guys schedule their hunts way out in advance. They got to get their dates so you don't fill up. A lot of guys will book them that day, their last day of that hunt in. So they're like, we want the same dates next year. Well, you don't know what's going on. They don't look at the Farmer's Almanac. There's not a forecast that's 365 days out. So it's hard to say, oh yeah, what if raining every day. It's cloudy. What if the birds aren't working? What if it's warm? I remember last season we're in Kansas. It was 68 degrees at 6 in the morning, setting up on a pond. I was hoping for ice that time of year. It was the first week of December. There wasn't any ice. The whole pond was over. I'm like, we're gonna be lucky if we kill them. I'm like, you sure we're gonna hunt here, Mitch? It's a little bit overcast. And Mitch goes, we're gonna kill them. And it just aired on the Foul Life last week. We smoked them. We were decoying huge groups of lessers, and because that mentality of just go and see what happens, good things can work out. You never know what those wild animals are going to do, but as a outfitter or a guide, you're like, man, I hope everything aligns today and I can show these guys. But if it doesn't happen that day, the best type of clients are guys that understand, and that's the job of the guide. You got to be able to be social. You got to be able to have conversation. You got to be able to look at those guys and say, hey man, this is what's going on. There's a lot of birds in the air. They got to be knowledgeable of the area, the roost, what's going on with the forecast, what's the moon doing, what's Mother Nature doing. Has the migration really pushed in? The last 2 years, the migration's been late. There's been duck hunters in the south that haven't even really got going until the second or third week of December, when it's usually on at Thanksgiving. So that guide to me has got to get in there, and he's got to be personable, and he's got to create conversation. He's got to have his little goodie bag in there, his cooler and his thermos of coffee and his snacks, and really be able to provide an experience, because that's what these guys have to be looking for. Because if it doesn't work out and somebody gets pissed and they're ignorant and they throw a fit like a 6-year-old or a 3-year-old, man, the birds aren't flying, it's your fault, you're a shitty guide and you're a terrible outfitter. No. You guys get him. You kill him. That story you just told is a perfect example. Hey, here's 43 by myself by 10 because you guys left. You're supposed to be here with me. We could have mopped up 250 today. Mm-hmm. But because they were ignorant and they didn't trust you as the outfitter and their guide of saying, hey guys, this is what's going on. How long have you been hunting? They're probably looking back on it and go, man, we could have one of the most epic snow goose hunting days of the world. And you gotta be able to have that conversation, be able to show people, hey, I'm a hunter, and I've studied this, and it's ingrained in me, right? There is a difference between a good guide and a terrible guide. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between an outfitter that's strong and honest and transparent and works his ass off to make sure he's providing that quality experience with lodging and food and preparation and scouting and hunts and gear and safety and dogs and everything that you're supposed to do as an outfitter, and that's what you do. Then there's those outfitters that like to pull the wool over your eyes. I remember going to Pintail Peninsula back in Arkansas back in 2000, 2001, and these guys were like, oh, we're going to get them. They didn't have any leases. They had no flooded timber, which they advertised. We shot like 3 spoonies one morning. And I'm not saying that we got mad, but we're like, wow, this is not weird. We're hunting this little tiny grass pond on the side of this dirt road, which I think we were trespassing looking back on it. And come to find out, they get shut down. They don't have any leases. It was a total smoke show. So to be an outfitter and to take that responsibility of saying, I'm going to take somebody's hard-earned money to provide them a hunt. It might be their only hunt of the year. I've had a lot of guys call me, hey, my son's graduating high school or college. I want to take him or my daughter on the hunt on a hunt to celebrate their graduation. These are big deals. Something that you as the outfitter, the guy that grew up in his backyard is the breeding grounds of the duck factory, you could take it for granted. You could easily say, man, we got all this at our fingertips daily. But a lot of people, that's the 3 or 4 or 5 days that they're looking forward all year. They've saved up all year for it. So as an outfitter, you better be damn sure that you're going to have all those pieces put together, and that puzzle's going to come together that 3 or 4 or 5 days. And when they leave, another group with the same ideology and thought process is going to do it again. Mm-hmm. So how do you do that? How do you get your guys ready? How do you make sure that you're not going to have this clientele go away and write nasty messages about you on Facebook and have this keyboard muscle about you?
You know, it's I can read people pretty well when they come and and over the past 6 years I've been doing it, I've gotten the clientele to where they trust me. They know just finally in my group that comes from Wisconsin, there's 9 of them. And they've had so-so hunts, 40, a 20, a 15, typical spring snow hunting. This year they came out, and it was their 4th year with me. They killed over 300 or 400 birds in 3 days. They were ecstatic. The old man who takes them all out here came up, he said, we had our confidence, we've stuck with you for 4 or 5 years. Thank you very much. It was the best one of our life. We'll be back next year and many years to come. And that right there makes the whole season when somebody does that. Because every year they come out. One year they came out and they shot 9 geese. I mean, it was just blizzard. 4 inches, 5 inches of snow. The geese were, I mean, it's your gates. I can't do anything about it. It's a snowstorm. It's a fluke thing. But they stuck it out with me, and they had the best snow goose hunt of their life.
And I guarantee you the reason they stuck it out is because of your personality, your sense of humor, your work ethic, your attention to detail, the lodge, everything that you have going into this hunt. I could go into a situation and I could pick apart if it was preparation or not. Mm-hmm. You're smart enough to understand that too, and hopefully your clients are too, to where when the birds don't cooperate, Mother Nature's not on that day, or she's like, hey, it ain't my fault. You guys should have done a better job of looking at the forecast.
Right.
That experience is everything. Mm-hmm. And at Prairie Sky Lodge in South Dakota, with Migration X Outfitters, there's a lot going on right now, momentum-wise, to show that this guide's life, this outfitter's life, this experience that we're willing to take the responsibility and shoulder, that you're going to spend your hard-earned money with us to come and do, you have set yourself up now to provide even a better experience. And what I mean by when I say that is, and let's let some of the news out of the bag we will here, is you have Migration X Outfitters, which concentrated on ducks and geese, Canada snow geese, spring, fall, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska mainly. And then you got into the northern part of Kansas, mainly for ducks. You've added it to your arsenal in the last 365 days by purchasing the Prairie Sky Lodge in South Dakota, which has been known for world-class pheasant hunting, roosters up the yin-yang, just awesome world-class pheasant. I know we hear that world-class all the time, but it's awesome. And then you got your ducks, you got your geese, you got your snow geese, you got your Canadas, you got your predators, you got your turkeys, you got your 7 miles south of the of the North Dakota border. You're way north of the Oklahoma border, but you're 7 miles south of the North Dakota border. 7,000 square foot lodge on 1,300 acres with landowners and a network and everything. Now this experience starts to really shine, right? Talk to me a little bit about what you're thinking.
It's where I want to be. I mean, it's a whole unique lodge. You've been there. There's so much to offer there. It's a beautiful setting, beautiful view, the hunting, everything, and the being away from home is it's a big thing. Going to Kansas and doing all that. Where I'm only from Prairie Sky, it's an hour to my house. So it's basically like a job. Just go there in the morning, this and that. And I like the variety of hunting. Morning duck hunt, afternoon duck hunt, morning pheasant hunt, afternoon duck hunt type of deal. And it's a whole different ball game. And I found it. I got an option to go in and lease it, an option to buy it. So I took it. I ran with it. And I see a big future ahead.
So you have Mindy and her husband there, and you have a crew of cooks and cleaners and guides and operations and maintenance, and you have vehicles and shuttles, and you have all this to offer. And on top of the meals and the lodging, you're talking about scenery, where when I was sitting there and I drove up on the dirt road and saw just the driveway going up to the lodge at Prairie Sky, you're just like, man, this is America at its finest. Mother Nature and God combined that day and said, you know what, let's create something to where one day they're going to put a lodge right here that's going to provide a service for families and fathers and sons and handicapped and veterans and celebrities and TV shows to be filmed and product to be tested. And God and Mother Nature looked at each other and went, let's do it right here. And there couldn't be a better place picked out. And maybe all of America, for sure not in South Dakota. I mean, I've been all over that state, and that place is just laid out to perfection.
Oh, it's set on the perfect hill. I mean, it overlooks. You can see, North Dakota out the front window. It's up on top of the Glacier Lake Mountain. It's the highest point. And it's just absolutely beautiful. And I think pheasant hunting, getting into that, that's fun.
A lot of potential.
A lot of potential. It's huge.
And the limit's 5 a day in South Dakota.
5 a day because we're actually a preserve/wild. And I can release as many as I want, and I can control my population of pheasants.
And they mix that in with the wild birds. And you've put together great bird dogs, pointers, pointing labs, English pointers, Vizslas, whatever it is, and you mix that again with the drive up into that place, and the view and the water out front and the walleye, and that talking about guides and Prairie Sky. I knew you were a good guy. I didn't know how good of a guide you were when I first met you. We hit it off and we're talking, and then I saw your work ethic, and you didn't stay up and party. You went to bed because you had to get up at 2:30 and drive and get the decoy rig set up. And this is back in April, and we hit it off. We kind of saw each other, that we had the same passion, the same love for the sport. You had heard a bunch of things about me in the industry. I hadn't really heard much about you, so I was able to judge you with a clean slate. But of course, I had to prove myself to you that that maybe Chad Belding's a little bit different than what the internet says. And then what I really saw, though, was in the last 2 weeks, because my buddy Jamie Johnson, In Color, he's one of the baddest ass songwriters and singers ever to come out of. He's from Alabama and Nashville, but he's up in Bismarck, and then he had a day off, and then he was playing Fargo. And it all started when your wife, who is a huge Jamie Johnson, George Jones fan, she wanted to go see him and knew that we had a connection and asked me, hey, can we go see him in Bismarck? And I'm like, why would you want to go to Bismarck when he's going to be in Fargo 2 nights later? And y'all live in Fargo. And she's like, oh, that makes sense. So we started thinking, and when I found out Jamie had that day off, well, this is what happened in a nutshell. Is I said, hey, what about taking him fishing? And you go, oh, I could take Jamie fishing. I go, well, it's not just Jamie, because Jamie travels with an entourage. Right? When it's Jamie, it's 15. And when he RSVPs to a wedding, it's one. But it's Jamie Johnson plus 15, not plus 1. And I get that, and I love it. And I've been around Zach and other musicians that they just like having their band and their crew around.
It's a family.
It's a family affair, and they get the limelight. They get all the goodies all the time, and they're saying, hey, if I'm going, they're going. And I get it, and that's awesome. So what do? You put together 5 boats. You get them on some water that is known for walleye fishing. You work your network. You go through all of it, from getting Jamie's favorite unsweet tea to his black coffee to the right PBR beer for the crew. You parked both of their tour buses at the Prairie Sky Lodge. You parked their semis on your property in Fargo, which happened to be right next to the theater that they were all playing. So all the stars align. Jamie's catching walleye and texting pictures of these walleye. You fry the walleye for him. You bring him to your Wednesday night steak fry at the Prairie Sky Lodge. And now I'm like, man, that's how I would have done it. And I'm not saying that I'm the best or anything good about it. I'm just saying, if somebody entrusted me to take out Jamie Johnson fishing, and you know that you put the best guides, the best boats, put him on the best water, gave him the best steak, the best fried walleye, lodging at the lodge, the view, the bus is parked right there for safety and security. Jamie calls and says, it couldn't have been any better, those people are spectacular. And I'm like, exactly. So right there, I'm like, Chris is a guy that I would entrust in. He just proved that to me. Federal's already got that trust in you, and you've gained that credibility with them to keep coming back to test their product. So we start talking, in the last 60 days, and let's talk a little bit about what's going on now with that.
Well, you want to start or me?
Well, it's one of those things that I don't take lightly. It's very important to me.
I think we hit it off great. We both. You've got so much passion and so much drive, and you've got a lot of fuel behind you, and that's something I need. I need that. I mean, the Prairie Sky needs that, and I think we gel really well. We both have the same vision, the same outlook, the same work. Oh, your work ethic, a lot more than mine. You're nuts. So, I mean, in a nutshell, we're going to be partners on this. So that's the nutshell.
So in the nutshell, and some more of that nutshell is Chris came to me with this offer, and I was like, what's the catch? What's the punchline? Yeah, right. And he's like, there's no catch. I want you to come in as an equity owner in the lodge and in the property and help me put this horsepower behind it and this platform and this network. And so far, we've seen it rolling. The momentum is going on it. The social media, the guests that we have coming up, the guests that have already been there, like i.e. Jamie Johnson, for example, we just talked about, and Wally and Herb Hassey and Chris and the entire Jamie Johnson crew. They had a blast, but we have a lot of cool groups coming. We have different camps that are already being discussed with Let's Talk About Traeger. They want to bring a bunch of grills out. They want to do product testing and do media events and cooking demonstrations and hunts and mix it with fishing. And that's what I'm most excited about, is that I love ducks and I love geese and I somewhat like snow geese, but then you got unreal turkey hunting. You have your relationship with the tribe there. You have your relationship with all the farmers and landowners, not just in South Dakota, but we can go across the border 7 miles north of North Dakota we're going to be in Nebraska for snow geese. We're going to be in Kansas for ducks, and now we're even throwing around the great state of Oklahoma. So we might have that entire flyway covered right there from north to south. And with this new partnership and the horsepower that we're planning on putting behind it, that's why I wanted to talk about guides and safety and outfitting and responsibility of taking somebody's money to provide them a hunt and making sure that transparency is there, and that work ethic and that entire time they're in camp is going to be awesome. And that's why we are willing to take on responsibility of bringing Anheuser-Busch in there, bringing Benelli in there, bringing Traeger in there, bringing Jamie Johnson in there. We talked to Zach Brown about it when we were at his concert in Sioux Falls, bringing Zach and Chad and the whole crew up there to hunt and fish and relax, get out in the middle of nowhere, turn your cell phones off and your iPads and your computers and disconnect for a little bit and really find yourself in prairie sky. And the sky's the limit is our new slogan. Not anything to do with killing your limited birds, but the sky's the limit when you're on that property. We want you to be free. We want your mind. We want your creativity come out. We want to host leadership camps, and we want to host team building and team unification events for corporate companies and corporations. And we have the ability to do that. And that's what you saw in me. And now when I see in you and what you did for Jamie and what you did for Federal, it's almost like a no-brainer. And the whole what's the catch deal was like, man, this place is valuable already. So for you, which you've been lucky in life, you've worked your butt off in life, and you've made a good living, and you continue to make it. And for you to entrust in me and our crew, and my brother, and Tom, and Tyson, and Josh, and Jared, and everybody that works with us, all of our partners, I can't wait to go to Maryland with you at the end of the month and tell Tim Joseph and Tom DeVold and George Thompson and JP Fisher at Benelli what's getting ready to go down there. We've already talked to JP about it in Georgia when I was in Argentina with him 2 weeks ago, and they're like, we're in, we want to come, we want to do it. Because you can wake up in the morning and go get on a mallard feed or a goose feed or a snow goose feed. When I say goose, I'm always referring to Canada geese. And then you got snow geese. And then you can come back and get behind a pointer and go kill your pheasant. Hop in a boat and go kill it and go catch a couple walleye. Go call a coyote. Go sit on the porch and do nothing and have a cold beer and open the Traeger and eat some good smoked beef or something. There's so much that I'm looking forward to at that place, and you can hear it in my voice right now that I appreciate and thank you and your wife Jolynn for entrusting myself and our team to give us this opportunity. And now, at the beginning of this, I was talking about the pressure of on an outfitter and on a guide and supplying that experience. Now I got the pressure on my shoulders on my half, not because of you, but I want to perform. And so I want this to be, when people listen to this, I want them to look up prairieskyranch.com, and I want them to see what we're getting ready to do, the changes we're making, the additions we're making, the things we're putting into that, the things we're taking away. Come get to know the crew. Come let us give that experience of the hunt, after the hunt, the meals, the nightlife, the lodge feel, that country Americana, dirt road, back road America, farmers, combines, dust in your rear view, watching mallards pitch into a hole, watching the coyote howl on the horizon, watching that moon go down and that sun come up, or that sun go down and that moon come up. All those pictures that you can paint vividly in your brain as a waterfowl hunter, as a turkey hunter, as a predator hunter, a walleye fisherman, a cook, somebody that just likes to barbecue. Come see it there because it's beautiful. And I appreciate it, bro. I'm excited.
Me too, buddy. We're going to have a good future.
You're a man of so many words. It's like
I've been on a plane for 12 hours.
And Chris is one of those guys that where you see it like he wants to say it, and then he's just like, me too, buddy.
Me too, buddy.
But I'm excited for it, Chris. And I think what you've done and the way you've set this up is going to be advantageous and beneficial in so many ways, mentally and physically, emotionally, to so many different people. What we're getting ready to do, your charitable donations and your charitable events you do with handicapped kids and providing hunts for that. The thing we're getting ready to do with Jamie Johnson at his golf tournament in Alabama and give a hunt to his charity to auction off at that event. And then the product testing and everything that we do, I'm getting goosebumps, no pun intended, just thinking about it. Canada goosebumps, not snow goosebumps. I don't want you to think that I'm ever going to get hooked on that. I'd rather watch paintball.
There's hope for you.
I think so. There's hope for me. So when you're in the lodge and you're going to say, hey, come and join us at Prairie Sky, you have a full-blown commercial kitchen there with an awesome bar, an awesome dining area. And then out in front, tell the story about the steak fry last week and when Jamie was watching me fry these steaks. What happened?
So we're sitting there, and we get done fishing. I got the oil going because every Wednesday we do a open to the public pitchfork steak fry. And if a lot of people don't know what that is, we got a big pot that we heat up, put the oil in it, usually 10 gallons of oil, and we put steaks on pitchforks. Get the oil to 400, put them in there at a certain time for medium rare and all that stuff. So Jamie comes over and I say, "You ever seen this?" He says, "No." And Herb was saying the same thing. He's like, "What the hell is this?" And I said, "Just watch." I asked them how they want their steak, medium rares, 4 minutes. Put the steak on there, put it in the oil. Comes out, and I cut a piece off, and I gave it to him, and his eyes, I mean, normally, you know, when you look at Chad, when you look at Jamie, right? You look at him, he's like this. But his eyes lit up like, what in the hell is that?
I remember you said he said something like, "Where'd you get it?"
Yeah. He eats the steak, Herb eats his steak, and then all of a sudden Jamie's over there kneeling down, taking pictures and this, and then, you know, he's pretty quiet, not really outspoken.
He talks less than you.
Yeah, and so he comes up to me and he's sitting there for about 2 minutes, kind of awkward. And he goes, "Where'd you get it? Where can I get one?" And I'm like, I'll do you a favor, I'll find out. And we hooked him up, so he is just.
Well, tell the story. You said I might be able to find one.
I might be able to
by when.
Yeah, and we had one sitting right down the road.
And so you drive up and put the headlights on it.
Yeah, and put it in the back of the truck and bring it up to Fargo, put it on his semi, and
did he fly it up there or put it on the bus?
Well, I put it in the back of the truck that next morning, drove it up there.
Oh, you drove it up there for him.
Yeah, and then so I didn't expect anything. So Herb comes walking up and gives me some cash. I'm like, "Well, you have to do that. I was just trying to be nice. I like you guys. You guys are cool, you know." So, no, Jamie insists, "Take it." And so then the whole golf tournament. And he wants me. I'm supposed to send him a list of times, how to cook it, this and that. So he's all about it.
We're going to be at the golf tournament.
I know.
He's probably inviting us so we run the steak fry for him.
Cook it for him.
All right, I'm gonna text him today or tomorrow because he's got a show tonight. But we'll ask him, "Hey, are we just invited to Alabama to run the steak fry? We need to know this now so we bring aprons."
Yeah.
Tell us if we need to bring aprons.
Are we the cooks or what?
So you have that steak fry going on at the lodge. Is one thing on Wednesday nights in the summer that 60, 70, 100 people show up on a Wednesday night and get their steak. And that stuff, we don't do that out here. We don't have chislet out here. We don't have steak fries out here. When you go back in the Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, Friday nights there's a lot of fish fries going on at bars and pubs and restaurants. And then you have your steak fries like you do. And I tasted it and I'm like, damn, this is some good, this is smoking, steak as far as beef goes. And you got Jamie up there and he falls in love with it. Your clientele's falling in love with it. There's a common theme going on that property that no matter what you're there for, it's going to be a hoot, right? It's going to be something that there's like you could put the boats out front in that pond and what kids can do on that with just a little fishing rod and a tackle box. I just want to make sure that people understand that this is more than just waking up and going and killing a limit of ducks and coming back. It's going to be a really, really cool family experience. Like I said, a corporate experience, team building experience. There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to offer there, and I don't want that to come off lightly because again, I appreciate the opportunity. And when I talk to people about it, like my buddy Les, who you're going to meet tonight, he's like, "Well, so what does he want in return? How much money do you need to put into it?" I'm like, "Dude, he's giving it to you." And to me, that's humbling. And I think that I don't want people to get the wrong interpretation that I'm bringing all this money and clout into this deal. You saw something and you opened your heart up and said, "Hey, let's do this together." And there's really no gain or benefit out, no short-term goals by you. This is a long-term deal. The big picture is we want to build something where it's a destination to come and live your outdoor dreams.
Be disconnected from and then be at peace.
And that's what Jamie said, is that I just don't like people he's like, I like it there. He's like, I felt good being there. You said the second night he really got comfortable a little bit. He goes up and he plays a show at Fargo, and you and Jolene get to go and hang backstage at the beginning of it, and cool experience. A month before that, we're down with Zach backstage, and you guys get to meet Zach, and these guys, they're not celebrities to the point to where they treat us like we're any different, and the reason is hunting, the outdoors, places like Prairie Sky. It disconnects you from that lifestyle that they're used to living with Zach 40,000 at Fenway Park and Jamie 15,000 at this amphitheater and 40,000 at this one, and the number one hits, and being on stage with Willie Nelson and George Jones and George Strait and these guys that we run with have done it. And they get to a place like Prairie Sky. That's why we have so much in common and can sit there and talk to them behind the scenes of a place like a crowded arena. When they sit down with us, it's always about hunting. It's not what they just did out there. And so you guys go up there and you're backstage, and Joe Lynn's just through the roof, on cloud nine.
Oh, she was so nervous.
Were you worried?
No.
Come on.
No.
Rock star.
No. That night at the steak fry, we just talked. We had a good time. We laughed. We had a good time. He said you could kind of sense that he was himself. He didn't have to be, the singer or whatever. He was relaxed, and so that's how I treated him. That's how I treat anybody I meet. I treat him like I want to be treated. Down to earth. I don't care if it's down in front.
So was it the same kind of vibe in the green room, the dressing room, when you got backstage?
Yeah.
Was he cool?
Yeah, very cool. I mean, we sat on the tour bus for about 45 minutes before he played. Just BS with him, talked about life, talked about everything. Found out how much his tour buses are worth.
There's no joke in a Prevost.
Oh man,
I'm talking 1.2, 1.4 million dollars, dude.
I was thinking like a couple $100,000, and he's like, "Oh, I got this one used for $850."
They don't mess around when they do it, and they're really cool when you get in there and see the theme of them and how guys do it. And you get to see the personal touches that these artists put in them. And I've been on, some, luckily I've been invited on a few, and I'm just like, man, we need one of these for the foul life. The decoys underneath and just going down the road, seeing America, having a full-time driver. Obviously safety's everything, pulling over and getting your rest, but the bunk spaces, the back room, the electronics, the TVs, I mean, it's living. And again, this life ain't for everybody. Being on the road and touring across America, those buses are there because they got their families with them. They got their friends with them. You can't be by yourself on the road like these guys are. They'll leave on a Thursday and come back on a Sunday night. They got Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday to refresh, and then boom, they're right back out. In today's music world, that's really the way these artists are making their money. So they got to be on it all year round, where before they might tour 4 or 5 months, but now it's like, man, record sales aren't there. With all the ways to stream music, that it's not like you go into Tower Records anymore and buy a CD or a cassette or a vinyl. They got to make their money in merchandise and touring. And so they're on the road year round. So those buses got to be comfortable and equipped with the finest things. So their families, their kids are on them. Their mom might come out for a run and hang out on the bus for a little bit, or guests like you and Joe Lynn being on there. It's their life. It's their livelihood. So they're willing to invest in them. There's leasing programs. So a lot of them, like Jamie, that are lucky enough to have the career in songwriting and performing, or Zach, they buy them and they knock them out. Zach's had so much leather work done in his, you're just like, holy smokes. Zach owns a leather company, a bag company, and his leather workers are insane talent. So the concert's awesome. I mean, they sing every song. Doesn't he put on a show that you're just like...
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I never knew he was that good of a guitar player. But just watching him,
he could pick it, huh?
Oh,
did you meet Hennessy?
Oh, yeah, Chris. I meet him along. He's cool.
Is he your bro?
He's cool shit.
Isn't he awesome? Yeah. That whole band, Herb Hassey at Merchandise, he's married and getting ready to have a little one. Getting ready to have a little one.
Yeah.
So he sings In Color. Did he sing This Land Is Your Land, This Land Is My Land?
Yes, he did. And then he sang, what's my favorite one from Jennings and Jones, that Wally came up.
Between Jennings and Jones.
Yeah, Between Jennings and Jones. That came, you know how that song came about, right?
Yeah.
Wally.
Oh, yeah. Well, the whole way that song transpires of leaving Alabama, headed north on 65, and you're going up to Nashville, and you don't know where you fit in. It's somewhere between Jennings over here and George Jones over here, which really isn't that much. To be in between them, you are them. And then all of a sudden, it's record executives are in a club one night in Nashville, and they see Jamie play. He was half lit. They said it sounded just right. And now they're like, where do you fit in? And he's like, somewhere between Jennings and Jones. And then the last verse is like, when you go into a record store, you're going to find me, because his name's Jamie Johnson, J-O-H, and now you're between J-E-N, Jennings, and J-O-N, Jones. How genius is that song? Right? And that's the genius of Jamie Johnson and Wally and these guys that live that Americana on in life is like songwriting's an art, and to do it right and to do it with the kind of songwriting that lights me up to where I'll appreciate it is right there. George Jones and Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings and Jamie Johnson and Chris Stapleton and Brent Cobb and Drake White and Lee Love. Those guys have something to say, and they say it through a pencil and paper, and then they pick that guitar and it just makes you know that you're alive when you hear that music.
Oh yeah, and when he was up there, the first song, I was just like, whoa, he can play guitar like no other. I didn't know that, you know? Because normally when you go to a concert or a band, it's the singer's not picking a guitar, and he's singing.
Unless you're, you know, Stapleton does. You've seen him live, and Jamie Johnson.
Yeah, I mean,
you're right. I mean, for the most part, the front man's the vocalist, and there's very few guys that can jam. I mean, I'm not going to say there's very few. There's more than you would think, but as far as that are out there in the public eye that are celebrity or famous, yeah, Jamie and Zach is amazing. Like, if you go watch Zach, you saw him.
Oh, yeah.
He can absolutely pick, like, nonstop. And people probably like, ooh, name droppers. It's always Zach. It's always Jamie. No, we're just humbled to know him and to be a part of what they do and have them in camp and hunt with them. And for a place like Prairie Sky, back to what we're discussing, thank you for entrusting in us and bringing us on to this deal. We're going to kick some ass with it, and I want to bring everybody out there. I want everybody listening to this. You're invited. Come out, get online, book a hunt, book a trip. Come out and fish. We're going to have so much to offer, and we're going to keep adding to it, and we can't wait to launch this and make it official as far as the public knows. And when they hear it on This Life Ain't For Everybody, they're going to be the first ones to know about it. We've been holding down the strings on this deal forever, and now we're starting to loosen up on those strings a little bit. But for sure, it's going to be fun. It's going to be full of passion and just the memories for the families. Like one of the first things you said was, you need to bring your daughter out here for the fireworks show next year, because you put on a huge firework display, right? Every 4th of July.
Every 4th.
A huge pyrotechnic show, yeah?
Yep. And it's getting popular more and more and more. It's been the second year, and this year everybody said, are you going to go bigger next year? Because this is huge. And I said, it's going to get bigger every year.
We had Leaf Lofton out there this year.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Leaf?
He's a good old boy. I like him. He's coming back up. Snow goose hunting.
He is.
And turkey.
Oh, he'll be up there all the time. You might as well just have a key to the place. Everybody that meets him falls in love. Oh, you want to watch my kid tomorrow? I know you never met him. And he's like, hell yeah, just bring him over. He's awesome. Right? His wife Stephanie. They're going to be out here in a couple weeks at the Tahoe.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
So we're going to have. They came out last year. We got a big pontoon boat from my buddy Tom Cox at Aloha Pontoons and Edge Duck Boats, and we bar hopped and we swam and we paddleboarded. The kids we had a bunch of kids days up there. So I love Lee Lofton. And again, he said, man, this place is special. You know, the whole theme of this friendship with me and you was, you know, Prairie Sky Lodge. It started in the snow goose field, and it had hunting and outfitting and memories and country music all mixed in that brought us together. And now we're sitting here on this podcast studio talking about what's getting ready to happen and what's already happened in the last 6 months, or not even 6 months. I met you in April, May, June, July. So really 4 months and a couple days since we met. And we've already done a lot together. We've traveled together already. You're down in my home city now. I've been to your house. I know your wife. I've met your kids. We've been to concerts together, hunts together, the lodge together. And that's what's getting ready to happen all the time. And I can't get it out of me. I'm fired up right now talking about it.
So getting back to when we first met, right? I've hunted with, so like all of the TV shows, and everybody's come on and hunt with me, and the host of the TV shows. And what stuck with me with you is there's so much passion in you, there's so much drive. It's amazing. I mean, and it's not all about killing. You see what I see. Hunting to me is the grass, the crops, the wind, the sun, the landscape, the birds. It's all of that encompassed. You know, when I was with these other people, well, we got to kill this, we got to kill that, we got to do this, and they don't get the hunting. Hunting is a tradition. It's a lifestyle. It's everything, you know. And people, to today and age, the younger generation are losing that grasp of hunting. It's all about killing.
Yeah, it's all about hashtag make a pile.
Yeah,
hashtag.
yeah.
And I'm not saying that the killing part's not important, that I enjoy it. I always say it. I love to kill.
Oh yeah.
I love to, you know, get them tight and right and call them in and decoy them and trick them. You know, I'm not going to ever take away the fact that, yeah, we are out there and we are going to kill them, and then we're going to butcher it, and then we're going to process it, then we're going to grill it, and we're going to eat it. And we're going to have an experience. We're going to pass that experience on to other generations. We're going to get more women involved, more kids involved. We're going to provide therapeutic hunts for veterans that have been fighting for our freedoms on foreign soil. And I've had several people say, as soon as my boots touch American soil, the first thing I think about, besides my wife and kids and my family, is getting in the woods. And we've been lucky enough and humbled to provide those hunts to different veterans, and working with different agencies like the Freedom Hunters Foundation. My buddy, all my buddies that run that I met through Benelli, and that's because of hunting. We get to do that. And the hashtag make a pile and the hashtag kill a limit and all that. When we say take it to the sky's the limit, I almost said take it to the limit with the Eagles, but it's the sky's the limit. Like you hear, there's no boundaries. Do whatever you want here. This is going to be fishing and hunting, and there's archery targets, and there's sporting clays, and there's horseback riding, there's buffalo to look at, there's deer to look at. There's just so much about Americana, and I said it before, of being in Reno and waking up in the morning and knowing what hustle and bustle I go through this time of the year in business and entrepreneurship and branding and all that. We forget about the little man out there on the combine in Kansas or North Dakota that starts his tractor up at 4 in the morning and goes and tills the land. And then goes and takes care of his cattle, and goes and feeds the chickens, and gets the milk and the eggs, and goes back in for a little breakfast and coffee with his wife. That's still going on in America, and that's what hunting means to me, is all these different walks of life that come together because of it, and they get to enjoy each other hunting camp. Jamie Johnson or celebrities aren't celebrities when they're there. When the warriors there that fight for our freedoms and our armed forces, they forget about that. It's therapy, being able to see Mother Nature at its finest, hear those sounds, smell those smells, pet that dog, be around kids, whatever it is. Hunting in America, to me, is way more than seeing a bird die. And it's sad to me. We're killing shit. We're killing animals. We're taking the responsibility to point a gun and pull the trigger and watch an animal die right before our eyes. Okay? It's not dramatic. It's not gladiator music on top. We're not Braveheart and Mel Gibson running a bunch of people. I've hunted with people that have ran at real people with guns and been in war and fought for our freedoms. Okay, it's not drama. Hunting is about memories. Hunting is way more than, and it's exactly what you're saying. It's way more than just that kill. So if we're going to kill animals, and we're going to take that responsibility of killing animals, then we damn sure have to be able to say we have compassion for these animals. We do. Hunters put in a lot of money and a lot of sweat equity and a lot of time to make sure that these animals are taken care of, that populations are thriving, and then on top of it, we make sure that we educate people. And yeah, we do kill a few, but we're farming for them. We're raising money for them. We're benefiting these animal populations. The heart of a hunter, the compassion of a hunter is everything. And that's why it's so easy to meet somebody that has those same views and fall in love with them, have something in common, and create a friendship and a lot of memories down the road with them. That whole hashtag, kill them all, shoot them in the face, get them tight and right and all that. I understand that if you're 20 and 25, but the sooner you mature and get that out of your head, like you're saying, the more you're going to find to enjoy this, right?
Exactly. That sums it all up. I mean, the hunt, setting the decoys, scouting, all that, it's the hunt. And then when you're done hunting, you pick the decoys up, you go back to the trailer. The first thing on my mind is, where we're going to clean them, how am I going to process them, what am I going to do with them, how am I going to make them, and it just goes into that. And then the cleaning and all that stuff. I feel when I'm cleaning geese and I see one that's shot up and I have to throw it because it's too shot up, I feel guilty. There's something in me, I feel bad, but it's collateral damage, I guess.
Yeah, and when you have somewhere like Prairie Lodge that has the ability to provide so many special memories, there are still rules and guidelines and laws. And when you come and kill birds, you're taking your birds with them. And if you're going across state lines, we're going to clean them for you and process them with the wing on. And we're going to eat some of them on the deck, and we're going to cook some of them on the trailer, and fry some of them with the steak fry. But for sure, it's not going to be somewhere where people are just going to come and shoot up as much as they can. Talk to me about the spring snow goose season, and when you're killing 200-300 birds in a day, homeless shelters. I know that there's zoos that it sounds bad, but those animals in zoos have to eat somehow. Wolves, I mean, they're feeding these geese to different animals. When I saw you, I'm like, what are you going to do with all these? And you're like, I process them. My kids can't live without them. I cook them up, I grill them up, I make them into pepperoni sticks. you really do take a lot of pride in making sure that these geese are going to benefit somebody with being a bounty on the table, right?
It goes into the whole big picture of hunting. So I processed them. Last year I did 600 pounds at my processor. My bill was $1,000. But I got sticks, and I got summer sausage, and I got all that. And so then when I'm out talking to a farmer, hey, you know, mind if we hunt here, blah, 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 I'll give them a pack or whatever. Farmers love that. I mean, it's just it's a relationship thing, and I hate seeing something that I hate seeing wildlife go to waste. That's just
if you don't, then you shouldn't be hunting.
Right.
And I know that there's people out there, oh, whatever, you know, I don't eat ducks, but I'm still going to kill them. Like, all right, that's fine to have that, but it's better. It's a more complete picture and puzzle if you learn how to process them right and butcher them and take that meat off the bone and then cook them, because I can make duck taste awesome. Personally, I can. I've had a lot of people eat a lot of different recipes, and I take a lot of pride in that. And I think you should. Be a man, be a woman, be a complete conservationist, and be a butcher, and be a cook and a grill master. Freaking live off the land, man. Get back to the way it's supposed to be done. You go out, you kill it, you eat it. You follow? Now in Africa, you go over there, and you say, well, they're killing all these animals. What do? Well, those locals eat all that meat. They'll eat off an elephant for freaking months.
Feed a village.
You go up like Shockey has and kill whales in some different parts of the Arctic and stuff. Those people eat every bit of it. Les has been on hunts for walrus where they bury the fat and the meat in the ice, dig holes in the ice, and come and dig it up months later and eat it. I mean, these people know how to utilize every single piece of these, and that's what we have to get back to. Is I know several people that don't just breast out their birds. We breast out a lot of their birds. I'm not afraid to say it. There's not a lot of meat on a duck's leg or a duck's back. We eat the breast meat and the tenderloins most of the time, but I love to pluck a duck and a speckled belly and put it on a beer can or one of these chicken thrones that Traeger makes and cook it and get that really juicy leg meat. I've had Cajuns make tons of different gumbos and roux by getting the legs and browning them and getting all that moisture out of those legs for a gumbo or whatever it is. So I couldn't agree more. You got to have compassion for these animals, and if you hunt, and you stay out there and you clean, you pick up the decoy spread, you be a part of the entire experience. And I love those kind of clients that come out and hell no, we're not sitting in the truck while you set up the decoys. We're coming out and helping. Put us to work. We want to be a part of this experience. And I think that's what we need to really press and do, Chris, is like, hey, you're going hunting with us. We don't want to necessarily be quote unquote guiding you. Let's all go hunting. Let's have an experience. Let's lay it out. Let's strategize the night before. Let's communicate over a cocktail or over a dinner and say, hey, here's what we got going on. You guys got anything? We do know this area, but if you guys want to see something or you want to see something done a different way, don't be afraid to say something that you might want to see in your experience. We want to provide the best opportunity for you to have the greatest time of your life right now for the next 3 or 4 days. And I think if we take that approach and people say, hey, I'm going hunting with these guys. I get to go hunt with Chris Green tomorrow. He's not guiding me per se. And I think that's how the repeat clientele comes, is now the second year and for sure by the third year, they're just hunting with you. They're not really being guided. They're just using you for your connections and your network and your farmers and your access to land. And they're just your buddies hunting with you, right?
Yeah, that's it. It gets to that point. And then when it gets to that point, though, then the whole money thing comes in. That's the one thing I fight with, because then I feel there's a guilt over me. When
no, you can't do that. This is your livelihood.
I know, but there's that sense of guilt. I'm like really good friends. I talk to them probably once or twice a week to a certain group of clients, but they have no problem paying. They just hear, they understand this is my livelihood. We're paying you for the experience of the hunt.
Well, I mean, if I own a restaurant and you and your family come in there 2 or 3 times a week in Fargo, I'm not going to sit there and comp your meals.
Right.
That's my livelihood. That's my food cost. I'm going to buy you a beer once in a while, but you as a mature adult and understanding business and revenue and profit margins and livelihood and raising a family and putting kids in college and buying diapers and buying groceries, hell no, they're not going to get a comp ton. A lot of guys are like, well, you didn't kill them these last 3 days. You can come back, well, I'm going to comp this. No, outfitting is not about comp tons. Outfitting is about clientele understanding that they're going to, again, put their responsibility or their trust in us, and we're going to take that responsibility on and provide an experience. And we're going to put them on the best situation that we possibly can that morning or that afternoon. If we don't kill them in the morning, hopefully we do have a grind in the afternoon to where we can set up for some dry field mallards or a little pot. We're going to go to the end of every extreme to make sure that they get on the best hunts. But by no means are we going to ever have the mentality of, oh, we didn't do our job. We're always going to do our job. We're not going to comp hunts.
Every hunt I do is like I'm hunting.
Like you're paying to go on that hunt.
Yeah, it's me. This is how I'm going to do it. This is me. This is how I would hunt. This is, that's how I do it. I don't do it different just because of whatever. It's me. It's how I've grown up to hunt. And, I mean, pretty good success.
All of your guides follow the same,
they
read that, they drink that Kool-Aid.
They do. They have, certain different things. All my guides are younger, and so they're on the social media. Well, this outfitter's doing this, and it seems to be working. Well, try it. I don't care, But in my spread, it's the way I do it, and it's old school, and it works.
And as far as the spreads go, these guides come up. Are they independent guys? Are they full-time employees usually? Or they work for you seasonally? Or are they your decoy spreads? Do they have to have their own arsenal to bring out in that field? Or you supply everything?
It's my decoys, my equipment, my everything. And I've gotten to know like Dylan and Evan Just. They are brothers. One does construction, one farms. So by the time farming's over in November, mid-November, late November in North Dakota, so they love the spring snow goose hunting because there's nothing going on. They're laid off. So they love going down in Nebraska, and they love shooting snow geese. And, I mean, they got the itch like I do. And it's just fun watching them learn what I know and just watching them do different things. And, it works and it doesn't work. They learn.
And what do you teach them? Or is there like a driver's ed course they got to go through to? Obviously, are they doing what you did back in the day of trying to get qualified to be their own boss someday, or do you teach them all your tricks, or are they pretty qualified?
No, they're loyal. They're the I've gone through probably 15 guides, 20. I'll probably say more, because guides come and they go. They come and they go. They want to go to this outfit or that outfit. Or every year it's just more and more. And I get people messaging me, "Hey, I want to come guide for you." Well, I've gotten out of that, and I've got my loyal guides. They know I trust them. I could give them the key to I could hand over my kids to them, and I trust them. That's just the relationship we have. And over the course, I mean, it's just they know how I hunt. They've hunted with me for 10 years, and they see how I hunt. They know how I set a spread. They know what I like to do, and they do that, and then they'll try different things, and they just great personal people. I mean, I've never had a bad comment or bad remark over any one of my guides between Dylan and Evan.
Yeah, no, they're going to take on that, again, a responsibility going out and flying your flag and representing Prairie Sky and Migration X, then they have to understand that there's a set of rules that they're going to play by too, and that we expect perfect customer service and a great experience and safety and camaraderie and conversation and education. If there's a kid in there, line them up with a goose call lesson or a duck call lesson. And I've been told so many times, man, when the birds aren't flying, what do? You can't pull the wool over their eyes.
No.
You got to make it to where they trust you. Like, hey, I'm in this hunt with you. We'll stay out here all freaking day if you want to. If we kill 8 ducks and we're shooting until the sun goes down, fine, so be it. But I don't want you guys to think that we didn't do our due diligence and our homework, and that's why this is happening. We have to, as an outfitter, Prairie Sky and Migration X, and they already do with you. That reputation's already there. They know that the work is being put in, and that is the most important part of getting that clientele back. Of hey, you might not get them, but it's going to be a blast, right?
Yep.
And that's why you were smart. Well, maybe not genius. I've been around you enough to know that it's scatterbrain, but there isn't. You got a mad scientist like deal going on. You got a method to your ways, buying and purchasing the Prairie Sky Lodge. And then, I'm not tooting our horn or my horn, but, teaming up with us, I think is a smart idea. Because we got, we have that reach, and I think that we're going to be able to paint that picture and tell that story of, hey, let's get to camp. Let's get there together. Let's go hang out.
Yeah.
Whether it's summertime or the fall or the winter, whether it's the reverse migration in the spring There might be times where we got snow goose hunters going out and we got turkey hunters going out.
Right.
That's cool as heck.
Oh, it's awesome.
Turkey hunters probably aren't going to hang out with snow goose hunters because snow goose hunters aren't right. Deer hunters aren't right. Deer hunters definitely don't like hanging out with duck hunters and duck camp. There's just a different, and I've said that a lot of times. People are like, oh, don't go into that again. But it's different mentalities for all that stuff. And I can't wait to see all this come into fruition and everything that we're talking about. I talked to Jolene, your lovely wife, yesterday, out kicking your punt coverage big time there. Like, she's beautiful. You're not, but no, you're handsome, handsome little devil. But she's fired up and she's excited because they see it. They want to. They know it. You know, I've talked to Mindy and she sees it. She gets it, right? Like, hey, we're going to do some big things here. We want to make this a good experience for all the employees, the entire crew, our customers, our clientele, our sponsors, our partners, our landowners. We're going to have barbecues. We're talking about music festivals. We're going to do a music festival, the Prairie Sky Festival. Oh, I just named it.
Hey, there you go.
The Festival, the Ragu Festival, the Prairie Sky. But there's a lot of things we're going to be able to do. It's going to be awesome. And speaking of Mindy, what about Tucker? Come on, man. 11 years old or 13? He's 11.
He's 11.
And he's ranked number 1 in the Dakotas for not baseball, not tennis, not swimming, not what you guys do up there mainly is hockey. He's ranked number 1 in bull riding. And I'm talking ranked bulls to where this dude's getting bucked off and landing on his head, and he's riding 8 seconds and winning buckles. Mindy just sent me a picture day before yesterday of another buckle he just won.
Oh, yeah. He's got over 20.
The dude is a stud.
Oh, yeah.
Loves cooking on Traegers.
Oh, yeah.
Mindy and they're just an awesome family.
Oh, yeah.
And he's riding bulls that are 1,000 pounds, and he don't weigh 100.
Wow. Isn't that crazy?
It's more than crazy. What's he doing? What's he thinking? There again, it's that mentality. Like, what? You look at like Jesse Lockwood or Ty Herndon or the guys that are just on top of that world of Tuff Hedeman and Jim Sharp and Lane Frost and the world champions that have gone through PRCA or the PBR now, Brazilians, Americans. At 11 years old, he's been doing it since he was 6 or 5 or something. They get on horses, they get on sheep, they mutton bust, and they work their way up and graduate to smaller bulls, and now or steers, and now he's on big time ranked bulls at 11 years old. That's hard for me to swallow. Like, if that's my son, I'm going, are you freaking lost your mind? Can you imagine being his mom when that chute opens? And you close your eyes for 8 seconds, and let alone being on his mom's, Mindy's got her eyes closed, and this kid's like, and he is at the steak fries on Wednesday night working his butt off with his Wranglers and his shirt tucked in and his Traeger styled colored boots and the orange and his big buckles and his baseball hat on when he's not having his cowboy hat on. And the most well-mannered, polite, clean-cut, just a sweetheart of a kid. His sister's a sweetheart. And that whole mentality of that part of America, the heartland, that's the heartland, right? That's what it's called, the Grand Prairie. The Grand Prairie is Arkansas, but that's a big-time prairie pothole region too. And I'm praying for him every time he rides, and I want to see him succeed. And can you imagine if we're sitting here talking about him when he's 11, and in 7 years when he's 18, he becomes world champion of the PBR?
That'd be
like Jesse Lockwood has, and I think Jesse's like 20 right now, and he's already done it.
Yeah, Tucker's got it. He's got it.
You think he does?
Oh, yeah.
You know he does?
You can see it.
Because we're getting ready to sponsor him.
Yeah.
Me and you've been discussing the sponsorship.
Yeah. You can see it. You can see it. He's good.
Have you watched him ride live?
No.
You never have?
No.
When are you going to do that?
I don't know. We gotta find out when I'm always, weekends are busy. They're at rodeos. Like, they go all over. I mean, they'll 8 hours across South Dakota to go to a rodeo. They'll go over here, rodeo. I mean, but the Veblen one I'll probably go to. That's coming up here.
Veblen's close to the lodge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 3 miles away.
Is that where we ate breakfast?
No, that was Lake City.
That's Lake City. So if you're another outfitter, don't go to those areas. Right, Chris?
Yes, sir. Stay out.
Snow goose spread. Sun hasn't come up yet. You're setting the spread up. You got your audio system out. It's connected to your Bluetooth. What music is Chris Green going to put on while he's setting the spread to get that blood going, to get that focus going, to get that drive, and be like, oh yeah, is it Thunderstruck AC/DC, or is it Slipknot heavy, or is it George Strait? Who is it?
That Obsession, Guns N' Roses.
Really? I mean, these
Like
people
that?
know how
I
to
don't
utilize
believe it.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knows that song.
We love that song.
Harmonica?
Yeah.
It's a bad obsession. It's always messing. It's always messing with my
There's not a lot of neat on
that's the song you pick on repeat?
Oh, yeah.
It's always bad obsession because that is a lame-ass obsession.
I love it. Oh, come on now. Oh, it is. There's the album. Oh, I thought that was the album right there. No, it's up there.
Yeah, right there.
Yes, sir.
Bad Obsession is on the orange one, Use Your Lose Your One. Yeah, that's it. That's the cassette.
Yeah, I know.
What do you think of this table?
That's pretty badass.
Bitchin', eh?
Yeah, I got his 1993. Axl Rose played in Fargo. Guns N' Roses did. And my aunt worked at the Ramada, and they were staying there. She brought me in Slash. I got to meet Slash. And I got his autograph, and then I got Axl's autograph.
Old Pucky, no way.
To Chris, rock and roll, or GNR 93, rock and roll, Slash.
You still have it?
Yeah, laminated.
Oh, dude, that's sick. I'm jealous as hell. 93, were they with Metallica? Because there was 2 tours going on in 1993.
I don't think Metallica was there.
Yeah, see, so Fargo was probably a little too small of a city, or maybe a town back then, to host that big show. But 93, they were also on the Dust and Bones tour, which I saw several stops out west there, and it was awesome. They had did they do the couch scene where they slowed everything down acoustically and brought the couches out and sat down?
So many years ago.
You were probably too young. 90s,
14.
Oh, see, I'm only 3 years older than you. I was 17 when we rocked it. Not showing our age or anything. We look really good for our age.
We look fabulous.
Fabulous. But I'm excited, buddy, and we could talk about. We're doing a podcast with a little bit of experience with each other, and I think there's a lot of passion to come in this. I think there's a lot of maturity in the friendship and the business relationship. Just everything that we're going to be able to do together, I appreciate it, and I think that we touched on a lot of things today that we could talk about in depth more. But later on, as we get to know each other, I want to really see if a lot of it rings true with, the cooking, the safety, the responsibility, the personality, the senses of humor, the clientele, how we care about our family, our friends. We're really going to see, this isn't just a bunch of smoke show here, smoke screens. This is a bunch of truth being told that this lifestyle means everything to us. And we're humbled to do it. We're humbled to get to do it every day. We're blessed and not entitled. Again, that's a theme of us at Bandit and in Foul Life, is that we're not entitled to this. We're blessed to be able to do it. And to get the opportunity to do this through hard work and perseverance and elbow grease and love and passion, and to have somebody give this to us, we're not going to take it lightly. And you can entrust in us that we're going to kick some ass. And my song, when we're setting up a duck spread in the morning, could be Bad Obsession. It's probably going to be Don't Damn Me, which is on that same album, which is amazing. And I don't know if I'm ever going to get the blood running through me like you have with the snow geese. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it. It's like going to Argentina 2 weeks ago. That's not, my cup of tea either. But to be shooting that many ducks in July when it's 100 in Chico, California when we left there, and we're stacking them up, and the lows were 30, 32, and the highs were 46 to 49 Fahrenheit. And the meals and the camaraderie, the memories, being down there with J.P. Fisher and George Thompson from Vanelli, my buddy Monty Baldwin, Rock Merlo, my brother Clay, everybody that was on that trip. Our camera guys, Tom was down there, our producer Tom, and camera guy Jared, our buddies. I hate calling them camera guys because they're more than that to us, but we came back, we got to Atlanta, coming back from there, and we're like, did that really just happen? And people experience that. I mean, I've been to Argentina before, and I've experienced, but when you're with the right group of people, you're just like, damn it, I don't want to leave. Mm-hmm. And my daughter, we were at the lake the other day in Almanor, and that's who just called me. My phone went off because I'm an idiot in my podcast and didn't put it on. I've done it like the last 3. I'm an idiot. And my buddy Brad Forsyth just called me, and he's going to hear this. He's going to be, oh, that's why you put me into voicemail. Truly it is, but he's at the lake right now at Almanor, sitting on his deck, cooking on a Traeger, cooking the macaroni and cheese because they asked me for the recipe, the way we do it, the way my buddy Jim Ray does it with not anchovies, but jalapenos and stuff. And my daughter and I were up there last Sunday, and we left, and she started bawling. I'm like, did you fall down? Did you get hurt? And she's like, I don't want to leave. I only have 1 week of summer vacation left, and I love this place. And I'm like, that's what Prairie Sky's got to be to people. Oh, yeah. I want to see a 45 to 60-year-old man cry his freaking eyes out when he's leaving there. Oh, yeah. That's the experience that we have to make it, because that's living. That's America. That's life. That's passion. That's love. That's the bad obsession of hunting, is that you love it so much It's a bad obsession to have because it eats you up. You know, there's a lot of freaking people out there that ducks have ruined their life. They've ruined my life because I don't want to do anything else most of the time because they consume me. We merely exist in a duck's world, Chris, not a snow goose's world. Not a snow goose's world, buddy. No. You're going to start seeing things my way now, boy.
If you grew up in North Dakota, you'd see it.
Yeah, and I'd have skates on and missing one of my front two teeth, too. I play hockey. Don't want to see me smile. But she cried leaving the lake, and I'm like, damn it, man. Being at this right place or a special place with the right group of people and everybody up there, they call it Trailer Trashville, but up there in Plumas Pines at Lake Almanor, California, is a special place. And when you leave there, you're like lump in your throat, trying to hold back. Even if it's just a little weekend excursion, and you know you're going to be back there 5 days later. Brad's like, I sit here until 7 or 8, 9 o'clock every Sunday night, and it takes everything in my power
to leave.
Yeah. I know I got to leave because I got to run my company in Chico tomorrow, but I don't want to leave Lake Almanor. And Lake Almanor is a special place. Where we're going tomorrow, Lake Tahoe, that you've never seen. It's going to blow your mind. You're not going to want to leave the beach there. We got the banquet with California Waterfowl Association tomorrow. I'm still weirded out that you're coming to it. You still don't really have a reasoning why you're here.
Well, we did donate a hunt.
Oh, that's what it is. You just said we.
Yeah.
That made me tear up a little bit.
No,
you just said we.
Yeah.
Like QUI, like, or OUI, or however they say in French, like we, like yes, or
we,
you and I.
Us.
Who's us?
Me and you.
Really?
You and me.
You and I.
You and I.
You and I.
I and you.
Well, I'm excited, man. That banquet's tomorrow. We're going to get to spend the day at the beach in Tahoe with some of our friends. And then we're going to get to go and raise money for one of the greatest conservation organizations in America, the California Waterfowl Association. When you meet Rock Merlo, who just got back from Argentina with me, you're going to be like, yep, cut from that cloth. Like, we need him at Prairie Sky. We need to bring him in. We need to bring fruit. We need to bring some wine. We need to bring some olive oil. We need to bring some pasta. Oh, dude, this Italian has wait until you taste this olive oil that I have in here from the Madigan family, Nuvo, Nuvo, that Rocky's family friends. It's right out of Orville, California. They grow all the olives right down there, and they produce olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and they have a chocolate vinegar for chocolate oil for ice cream topping. Rocky's just so tied in with, he does walnuts and almonds, which are almonds, but he calls them almonds in here. And then olives and great pastas and wines. His family owns a winery. His cousin Harry owns an awesome winery in Dry Creek, California called Lago de Merlo. Anyway, I'm talking passionately about that now. You know why? Because he's a freaking duck hunter. And I fell in love with him, and now we're best friends. He called me his best friend at his 50th birthday party. I got the Friend of the Decade award, only knew him for a year and a half. He called me down and like almost I'm like, he's going to give me a plaque, I think. I was so weirded out because he had all of his true best friends there, and he called me out, and I'm like, oh, God. And I had to give a speech and all this, and I'm like, you're Rocco, and I'm proud to know you, and I gave him a little fist pump and a hug. But anyway, I'm not rambling on. I'm just saying that all these relationships that we talk about, and these guys we're going to be at the lake with tomorrow, the guys we're going to dinner tonight, we're going to Louis Bass Corner. Unless you want sushi really bad, we're going to go eat some sweetbreads and cow tongue at Louis Bass Corner. It's a staple in downtown Reno, Nevada. Family-style Basque dining where you sit down with strangers and they start bringing food, and by the end of the night, you're friends. It's kind of like a duck blind. Cool. And that's what I love about it. Great bar. They have a special drink that Jim Ray's been on here and talked about with Chad Ward. It's called the Pecan Punch. And maybe just have a sip of one because I don't want you to be all loopy and stuff. But that's it, guys. The big news was the partnership between TFL, The Fowl Life, and myself and our crew with Chris Green and Prairie Sky Lodge and Migration X Outfitters. So coming in the fall of 2018 for the 2018-2019 waterfowl season, the 2019 spring depredation snow season, snow goose season, turkey season next spring, walleye season. Look at us. Check us out. PrairieSkyRanch.com, MigrationXOutfitters.com, and come book a hunt. Come have the experience. Come hang. There's going to be fowl life hunts offered to where you can come film and see your little pretty face and your buddy's face on national TV TV on the Outdoor Channel. So again, we're humbled, we're blessed to have Chris come into our lives. Jolynn, thank you. Mindy, thank you. Tucker, stay on, boy. 8-second ride, Chris Ledoux style, my man. Can't wait to see you live in a rodeo. New episode of The Foul Life this week on the Outdoor Channel. We're in Iowa for a great cause. We're joined by Kansas City Royals, police officers that went through some turmoil, wrestling coaches from Iowa State that were both NCAA champions, and Brett Metcalf and Derek St. John. We're also joined by Tyler Stark, VP of Marketing Outdoors for Traeger. We're joined by Chad Ward, VP of Marketing for Barbecue Traeger, and an unbelievable pitmaster. You even heard him on here on this podcast. He's won the Royal and the Grand 8 times. Who else was on that trip? We had Scott Dahl from Anheuser-Busch and Dahl Distributing. We had the Edge Sports Bar. We had the Missouri Valley High School wrestling team that were also facing adversity and turmoil. Check out the episode this week, The Outdoor Channel. It's on tonight, it's on tomorrow. Let us know what you think about it. The reviews have been awesome for the first 5 episodes so far. Thank you so much for that. New merchandise available at thefoullife.com. Check us out on our new YouTube channel, This Life Ain't For Everybody. And we got more great guests. Chris, do you have any closing words for myself or anybody out there listening to This Life Ain't For Everybody podcast right now?
If you want to get away, feel free. Great hunting, Prairie Sky.
Prairie Sky
Ranch.com.
PrairieSkyRanch.com. It's a ranch, y'all. So when you get there, be ready to mend some fences and milk a cow. Tom, start playing that song. You know this song, Chris, that plays us in and out every podcast. You met Leith Lofton. What you gonna do when the money's all gone? If you have some left, spend it with us at Prairie Sky Lodge. I can't. Guys, you got to come see this. Girls, you got to come see this. But anyway, I'm Chad Belding. Thank you guys so much for all the support with all of our brands. New banded product dropping right now at your local dealers. I can't wait for you guys to see the new designs, the new decoys from Greenhead Gear. I can go on and on. My passion. I'm fired up. We're going to Louis. Check us out. Tom, play that song. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Life on earth won't last that long.
But the Vetlin one I'll probably go to. That's coming up here.
That one's close to the lodge, isn't it?
It's 3 miles away.
Is that where we ate breakfast?
No, that was Lake City.
That's Lake City. So if you're another outfitter, don't go to those areas. Right, Chris?
Yes, sir.
Stay out. Snow goose spread. Sun hasn't come up yet. You're setting the spread up. You got your audio system out. It's connected to your Bluetooth. What music is Chris Green going to put on while he's setting the spread to get that blood going, to get that focus going, to get that drive, and be like, oh yeah, is it Thunderstruck AC/DC, or is it Slipknot heavy, or is it George Strait? Who is it?
Bad Obsession, Guns N' Roses.
Really?
Like that.
I don't believe you.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knows that song.
I love that
The
song.
harmonica?
Yeah.
It's a bad obsession. It's always messing. It's always messing with my head. God, that's one of those. I love you. That's the song you pick on repeat?
Oh, yeah.
It's always bad obsession, because that is a lame-ass obsession.
I love it. Oh, come on. No, it is. There's the album. Well, there's the album right there. No, it's up there.
Yeah, right there.
Yes, sir.
Bad Obsession is on the orange one.
Yeah,
Usually
it's right there.
Yeah, that's it. That's the cassette.
No, no.
What do you think of this tape?
That's pretty badass.
Bitchin', isn't it?
Yeah, I got his 1993. Axl Rose played the car with Guns N' Roses did. And my aunt worked at the Ramada, and they were staying there. She brought me in and Slash. I got to meet Slash. And I got his autograph, and then I got Axl's autograph.
Bulls Pucky. No way.
To Chris, rock and roll, or GNR 93, rock and roll Slash.
You still have it?
Yeah, laminated.
Oh, dude, that's sick. I'm jealous as hell.
Mm-hmm.
93, were they with Metallica? Because there was 2 tours going on in 1993.
I don't think Metallica's there.
Yeah, see, so Fargo was probably a little too small of a city, maybe a town back then, to host that weird show. But 93, they were also on the Dust and Bones tour, which I saw several stops out west here, and it was awesome. They had did they do the couch scene where they slowed everything down acoustically and brought the couches out and sat
That
down?
was so many years ago.
You were correct too.
I was
90,
14.
No, see, I'm only 3 years older than you. I was 17 when we rocked it.
Mm-hmm.
Not showing our age or anything. We look really good for our age.
We look fabulous.
Fabulous. But I'm excited, buddy, and we could talk about. We're doing a podcast with a little bit of experience with each other, and I think there's a lot of passion to come in this. I think there's a lot of maturity in the friendship and the business relationship. Just everything that we're going to be able to do together, I appreciate it. And I think that, you know, we touched on a lot of things today that we could talk about in depth more, but later on, as we get to know each other, I want to really see if a lot of it rings true with, you know, the cooking, the safety, the responsibility, the personality, the senses of humor, the clientele, how we care about our family, our friends. We're really going to see, like, this isn't just a bunch of smoke show here, smoke screens. You know, this is a bunch of truth being told that this lifestyle means everything to us. And we're humbled to do it. We're humbled to get to do it every day. We're blessed and not entitled. Again, that's a theme of us at Bandit and Foul Life, is that we're not entitled to this. We're blessed to be able to do it. And to get the opportunity to do this through hard work and perseverance and elbow grease and love and passion, and to have somebody give this to us, we're not going to take it lightly. And you can trust in us that we're going to kick some ass. And my song, when we're setting up a duck spread in the morning, could be Bad Obsession. It's probably going to be Don't Damn Me, which is on that same album, which is amazing. And I don't know if I'm ever going to get the blood running through me like you have with the snow geese. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it. It's like going to Argentina 2 weeks ago. That's not, you know, my cup of tea either. But to be shooting that many ducks in July when it's 100 in Chico, California, out there, cool. And we're stacking them up, and the lows were 30, 32, and the highs were 46 to 49 Fahrenheit. And the meals and the camaraderie, the memories, being down there with J.P. Fisher and George Thompson from Benelli, my buddy Monty Baldwin, Rock Merlot, my brother Clay, everybody that was on that trip, our camera guys, Tom was down there, our producer Tom, and camera guy Jared, our buddies. I hate calling them camera guys because they're more than that to us, but we came back, we got to Atlanta coming back from there, we're like, did that really just happen? And people experience that. I mean, I've been to Argentina before and I've experienced, but when you're with the right group of people, you're just like, damn it, I don't want to leave. And my daughter, we were at the lake the other day in Almanor, and that's who just called me. My phone went on because I'm an idiot in my podcast and didn't put it on. I've done it like the last 3. I'm an idiot. And my buddy Brad Forsyth just called me. He's going to hear this. He's going to be, oh, that's why you put me in the voicemail. Truly it is, but he's at the lake right now at Almanor, sitting on his deck, cooking on a Traeger, cooking the macaroni and cheese because they asked me for the recipe, the way we do it, the way my buddy Jim Ray does with the not anchovies, but jalapenos and stuff. And my daughter and I were up there last Sunday, and we left, and she started bawling. I'm like, did you fall down? Did you get hurt? And she's like, I don't want to leave. Oh, yeah. I have 1 week of summer vacation left, and I love this place. And I'm like, that's what Prairie Sky's got to be to people. I want to see a 45 to 60-year-old man cry his freaking eyes out when he's leaving there. That's the experience that we have to make it, because that's living. That's America. That's life. That's passion. That's love. That's the bad obsession of hunting, is that you love it so much. It's a bad obsession to have because it eats you up. You know, there's a lot of freaking people out there that ducks have ruined their life. They've ruined my life because I don't want to do anything else most of the time because they consume me. We merely exist in a duck's world, Chris. Not a snow goose's world. Not a snow goose's world, buddy. No. You're going to start seeing things my way now, boy.
If you grew up in North Dakota, you'd see it.
Yeah, and I'd have skates on and missing one of my front 2 teeth, too. I play hockey. Don't want to see me smile. But she cried leaving the lake, and I'm like, damn it, man. This being at this right place or a special place with the right group of people, and everybody up there, they call it Trailer Trashville, but up there in Plumas Pines in Lake Almanor, California, is a special place. And when you leave there, you're like lump in your throat, trying to hold back. Even if it's just a little weekend excursion, and you know you're going to be back there 5 days later. Brad's like, I sit here until 7 or 8, 9 o'clock every Sunday night, and it takes everything in my power to leave. I know I gotta leave because I gotta run my company in Chico tomorrow, but I don't want to leave Lake Almanor. And Lake Almanor is a special place. Like where we're going tomorrow, Lake Tahoe, that you've never seen. It's gonna blow your mind. You're not gonna want to leave the beach there. We got the banquet with California Waterfowl Association tomorrow. I'm still weirded out that you're coming to it. You still don't really have a reasoning why you're here.
Well, we did donate a hunt.
Oh, that's what it is. You just said we.
Yeah.
That made me tear up a little bit.
No,
you just said we.
Yeah.
Like QUI, or OUI, or however they say it in French, like we, like yes, or
we.
You
us,
and I.
Us.
Who's us?
Me and you.
Really?
You and me.
You and I.
You and I.
You and I.
I and you.
Well, I'm excited, man. That banquet's tomorrow. We're going to get to spend the day at the beach in Tahoe with some of our friends. And then we're going to get to go and raise money for one of the greatest conservation organizations in America, the California Waterfowl Association. When you meet Rock Merlot, who just got back from Argentina with me, you're going to be like, yep, cut from that cloth. Like, we need him at Prairie Sky. We need to bring him in. We need to bring a group. We need to bring some wine. We need to bring some olive oil. We need to bring some pasta and some tomato. Oh, dude, this Italian has the. Wait till you taste this olive oil that I have in here from the Madigan family. Nuvo, N-U-V-O, that Rocky's family friends. That's right out of Orville, California. They grow all the olives right down there, and they produce olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and they have a chocolate vinegar or chocolate oil for ice cream topping. Rocky's just so tied in with. He does walnuts and almonds, which are almonds, but he calls them almonds up here. And then olives and great pastas and wines. His family owns a winery. His cousin Harry owns an awesome winery in Dry Creek, California called Lago de Merlot. Anyway, I'm talking passionately about that now. You know why? Because he's a freaking duck hunter. And I fell in love with him, and now we're best friends. He called me his best friend at his 50th birthday party. I got the Friend of the Decade award, only knew him for a year and a half. He called me down and like almost like I'm like, he's gonna give me a plaque, I think. I was so weirded out because he had all of his true best friends there, and he called me out, and I'm like, oh God. And I had to give a speech and all this, and I'm like, yo, Rocco, and I'm proud of knowing. I gave him a little fist pump and a hug. But anyway, I'm not rambling on. I'm just saying that all these relationships that we talk about, these guys are going to be at the Lakewood tomorrow. The guys are going to dinner tonight. We're going to Louie's Bass Corner. Unless you want sushi really bad, we're going to go eat some sweetbreads and cow tongue at Louie's Bass Corner. It's a staple in downtown Reno, Nevada. Family style Basque dining where you sit down with strangers and they start bringing food, and by the end of the night you're friends. It's kind of like a duck blind. And that's what I love about it. Great bar. They have a special drink that Jim Ray's been on here and talked about with Chad Ward. It's called the Pecan Punch. And maybe just have a sickle one because I don't want you to be all loopy and stuff. But that's it, guys. The big news was the partnership between TFL, The Fowl Life, and myself and our crew with Chris Green and Prairie Sky Lodge and Migration X Outfitters. So coming in the fall of 2018 for the 2018-2019 waterfowl season, the 2019 spring depredation snow season, snow goose season, turkey season next spring, walleye season. Look at us. Check us out. PrairieSkyRanch.com, MigrationXOutfitters.com, and come book a hunt. Come have the experience. Come hang. There's going to be fowl life hunts offered to where you can come film and see your little pretty face and your buddy's face on national TV on the Outdoor Channel. So again, we're humbled. We're blessed to have Chris come into our lives. Jolene, thank you. Mindy, thank you. Tucker, stay on, boy. 8-second ride. Chris Ledoux style, my man. Can't wait to see you live in a rodeo. New episode of The Fowl Life this week on the Outdoor Channel. We're in Iowa for a great cause. We're joined by Kansas City Royals, police officers that went through some turmoil, wrestling coaches from Iowa State that were both NCAA champions, and Brett Metcalf and Derek St. John. We're also joined by Tyler Stark, VP of Marketing Outdoors for Traeger. We're joined by Chad Ward, VP of Marketing for Barbecue Traeger, and an unbelievable pitmaster. You've heard him on here on this podcast. He's won the Royal and the Grand 8 times. Who else was on that trip? We had Scott Dahl from Anheuser-Busch and Dahl Distributing. We had the Edge Sports Bar. We had the Missouri Valley High School wrestling team that were also facing adversity and turmoil. Check out the episode this week, The Outdoor Channel. It's on tonight. It's on tomorrow. Let us know what you think about it. The reviews have been awesome for the first 5 episodes so far. Thank you so much for that. New merchandise available at thefowllife.com. Check us out on our new YouTube channel, This Life Ain't For Everybody. And we got more great guests. Chris, do you have any closing words for myself or anybody out there listening to This Life Ain't For Everybody podcast right now?
If you want to get away, feel free. Great hunting. Prairie Sky.
PrairieSkyRanch.com. PrairieSkyRanch.com. It's a ranch, you know, so when you get there, be ready to mend some fences and milk a cow. Tom, start playing that song. You know this song, Chris, that plays us in and out every podcast. You met Lee Clopton. What you gonna do when the money's all gone? If you have some left, spend it with us at Prairie Sky Lodge. I can't, guys, you gotta come see this. Girls, you gotta come see this. But anyway, I'm Chad Belding. Thank you guys so much for all the support with all of our brands. New Bandit product dropping right now at your local dealers. I can't wait for you guys to see the new designs, the new decoys for the greenhead gear. I can go on. My passion. I'm fired up. We're going to Louis. Check us out, Tom. Play that song. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Bingo bongo.
You want to know how long that was? How long do you think?
45 minutes.
2 hours.
Shut up.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
A little bit under 2 hours.
Jesus.
I'm stopping at 1:25, and I started this a full half hour after you started.
So I'm confused. Are we in the house now?
Yeah.
Where are we in? Well, I'm confused. Did we walk through your shop?
Yeah, this is the house, and this is.
How long do you think? 2 hours. Shut up. Yep. Holy crap. A little bit under 2 hours.
Nice setup, bud.
Stopping at 125.
You want to come back over here for a drink and take care of these cameras? Or you done for the night? Huh? You're not going out? You don't feel good? What is it? Like you feel sick? Oh, let me turn these cameras on. What do I push? Yeah, the one right by me. Yeah, it's recording still.
Where's your bathroom at, Chad?
Down on the right. Left hand side, yeah. Yep. Hit that. Okay, yeah, the red dot just turned off.
On the middle right, on the very bottom of it, there's a little gray switch, that's the power button.
The black switch with the white line on it?
Yeah. It says power on or off or whatever.
Okay, switch that to the left.
So off or whatever. Power off.
Okay, that shut down. Now you got this little one in the middle.
The little camera just
Starts.
open up the window,
Open up the window.
and then hit the gray button on the right hand side to start stop.
Of the panel or the screen?
The screen.
Gray
And then
button.
hit the gray button on the right. and
I don't
then
see
stop.
gray. I don't see gray button on the right.
On the far, not on the screen, on the far right of the camera, on the back right. Start stop.
Where you when you open the screen?
No, on the back, to the right of the battery, on the very back side of the camera.
Start. Stop.
Right.
Okay, I hit.